Hello, and welcome to Twin Peaking, where I show my friend Jay Kirsten Twin Peaks in order of my least favorite to favorite episodes, and we see if she can figure out what Twin Peaks is about. If you find yourself enjoying the show, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And that includes to Jay Kirsten at twitch.tv/JKIRSTYN. That'll also be in the description below. Without further ado, let's get started. Hey Jay, how's it going?
I'm good.
You're good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm nervous. I'm a bit nervous.
Me
if I'm
too.
being honest.
Me too. Okay, so a couple things here. People already know what episode this is coming up, but we're delving into season 1, and I think that's controversial. on if we look at the IMDb. In fact, like, we haven't even delved into any season 3 stuff. There's already been a season 3 one in the IMDb ranking of it that already came up. The first season 1 is a bit later, and it's a different episode. Like, I'm so nervous about this because this is my credibility on the line here. Yeah, so we're watching season 1, episode 2 today. And a little behind the scenes. We had to cancel last week because I was sick. So we've had to take a little break right before this big episode, which is scary and nerve-wracking. Yeah,
I'm nervous.
Yeah. I do want to explain how I came up with this list. Not why this ranks where it is, but like the process in which I came up with this list.
Okay.
Because I was watching this with my mom. And
oh my god. Sorry.
Oh, bless you.
I sneezed.
Yep. I was watching this with my mom. And we were about halfway through season 2 when you kind of semi got on board with this idea.
Okay.
I should say it that way. When I pitched it to you and you showed interest.
Yeah. Okay.
And so we were already like past a good amount of episodes.
Yeah.
to make this list. Everything that's like mid season 2 onwards, I'm pretty confident on. I've even had to switch some stuff around based off of memory that as I rewatched it with my mom, I'm like, oh no, actually this moves here and this moves here.
Okay.
But like, I wasn't making this list with my mom initially. We were just watching the show. And so like, I had to go back and look at recaps or like the little, like Wikipedia, whatever entries of what each episode is or like, the episode recaps to determine these earlier episodes where they fall. And I haven't gone back to rewatch the earlier episodes yet with this list. So I'm saying all this in case I'm completely wrong and I'm like, oh no, this is a lot better than I remember it being. I just didn't remember that XYZ part was in here. like I feel like I need to I'm trying to protect myself right now. I'm so scared. Or maybe this is where it falls. But for me,
fair.
That may also just be true because we're in the good stuff.
Right. True. For me, I am like no expectations. Like this is like basically the first episode again for me. So I'm trying to go in there with an open mind, no expectations. I'm ready for my web chart to be crazy because I expect it's going to be completely different from what I already have in my head of these characters. So I'm excited. Yeah. I'm nervous, but I'm excited. So,
okay. Quick admin that I should have brought up before we start recording. Do you want me to take the scene notes so you can focus on the web thing, or are you doing both? Is that helpful or harmful to your consumption of it?
That's a good, because like let's see how this episode plays out. I'll do both.
Okay.
If it's too much, because looking at the future list, it's going to get a little crazy. So we'll see how this episode goes, and then if I can't handle it, then you can do scene notes and I'll do web stuff. But I think that will work better. We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay.
All right. Are we ready to get started on?
I'm ready. Hit. Okay.
I think it's always important to have this frame pop up.
Yeah. Show to recenter the show back to, oh, this is about Laura.
Yeah. Got that pretty immediately, huh?
Yeah.
In this episode, got that pretty immediately, huh? That this show's about Laura. Yeah. Well, so that was season 1, episode 2, Traces to Nowhere.
Traces to Nowhere.
Let's start there. What do you think of the title?
I like it's very poetic, Traces to Nowhere. I like it. My first thought is that it's about Laura and how, like, there's, like, it's basically bits and pieces of where Laura was that day, but it's not leading to anything of what happened to her. So, yeah, I think it's a very fitting title to the episode.
For sure. What did you think of the episode as a whole?
I really like this episode. It's surprising to me that you rank it so low, because I enjoyed it. It definitely felt like, I was worried about this episode because we jumped basically from almost the end of season 2 to the beginning of season 1. So I was worried that there was going to be a lot of characters that I didn't know, and a lot of like things that I didn't know what I was worried I was gonna feel how I felt about watching the first episode, which was what, like season 2 episode 15, I think was the very first one that I watched. And I was worried that I was going to be like, how I felt watching that first episode was very like, I don't know what's happening, I don't know what to think of it, blah 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 blah. But even though this is in season 1, it still feels like I'm getting a lot of backstory of characters that I already know, and that makes sense because I've watched a couple episodes. But like, I was expecting like a group of characters that I've never seen before. Like, I was kind of expecting that, because, like, you know, these types of shows, like, usually there's like characters that come and go kind of deal. That it's just surprising to me that a lot of the mainstays that I am familiar with are the main cast of this show, you know.
Pretty much all of them. Like, pretty much everyone you know. The few people who you've seen later that didn't show up, you saw like both introduction and exits for a lot of them, so you probably weren't expecting them to show up in the first place.
Exactly.
So
yes,
but so you were expecting like almost an entirely different cast that we were following through there. I've never seen Fargo, but something like Fargo, where like in a different season you follow a different group of people. Is that what you were kind of expecting?
Not kind of like I think like I was expecting a more I think Days of Our Lives does it really well. Like, in a sense of like, not well, but like they
soap opera have like aspect of it.
Like they'll bring on like a character that like there's like I was expecting like I think James is a really good example, because I saw him leave in season 2, like essentially his last episode. I thought that he was a season 2 character right? Because they kind
Oh.
of do that. And then,
Yeah.
but like, that's why I was surprised to see that, oh, James is like in the second episode of this show.
And if by extension James is a season 2 character, then you could kind of assume Ed and Norma might be, because they're
Yes,
related
exactly.
to James's stuff more.
Yes, I was expecting, like, I wasn't expecting to see Ed and Norma so early in season in season
Yeah.
1. Like, I was expecting them like kind of mid to end of season 1 into season 2. Like, I was expecting like that type of rotating cast of like.
So
bringing
you
in
expected
characters
the
for plot
police
points.
people to all be there,
Yes,
which is why you
yeah.
didn't say anything about Hawk, but you didn't
Yes.
expect all the auxiliary people to be there necessarily.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
So
that's really
I'm-
interesting to
I'm
hear.
happy to see that. So yeah, basically all of the characters that I know are I'm just getting like this is just like more whipped cream. Like this is great. I'm getting more shit of the characters that like I want. So yeah, this is good.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
enjoyed this
It
episode.
felt like a heightened, like a better version of what you've gotten so far.
Yes, exactly. Like I already liked like because I know we're watching this like show really shitty, but like it's basically to me a better earlier season 2 episode. Like that's how it felt
Yeah.
like to me. Yeah, so it was good.
Okay.
It was good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll explain why I rate this so low. And after going through it, I kind of still feel the same way.
Okay.
What'll depend on is if any of the other episodes are worse than I remember them being, rather than
Okay, okay.
is this better than I remember it being. So like, no, rewatching it, I feel fairly confident of where I put it. But we'll get into that after we go through this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Traces to Nowhere. Where the frick does it start?
I have my scene breakdown.
Yes.
I have my scene
Yes.
breakdown. Okay. So it starts with Cooper talking to Diana through the recorder.
That's right. The iconic, yeah. Because what you have to, what I should clarify for this is that this is technically episode 1. Is how it's like recorded on like a bunch of different websites on the old DVDs. I think in the new DVDs and stuff it lists it as like an episode 2, but like this is called episode 1 because the first episode is actually like a movie that David Lynch and Mark Frost made that the ABC was like, hey, you're gonna do this, we're gonna premiere it as a Sunday night movie, and then they even had them shoot an alternate ending to the first one that would wrap it all up as like a movie would, in case it didn't do well and they didn't turn it into a TV series.
Oh, interesting.
But then it had like record-breaking success. Like I think it was like 30 million people watched it.
Oh, okay.
It was something like that.
Okay.
So yeah. So the Northwest Passage, which is the first one, it is usually considered like a movies first, and then this is episode 1. But like in modern ones, it kind of counts as episode 1, and then this is episode 2.
Okay.
So it gets a little mixed up there.
Oh, okay.
But
okay.
so this is actually like the first TV episode
TV
of
episode. Oh, interesting.
it,
Okay.
which is I'm bringing that up because it's such a good way to like acclimatize the audience to like who Cooper is if you didn't watch the movie.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Okay. And so they had filmed the movie to the point where like there was like months in between filming from the movie to the TV show because they weren't sure it was
Okay.
going to get greenlit. People have different
Right.
hairstyles, and to a degree, some of the characters are a little bit different.
Okay.
Like in how they're written, including Cooper.
interesting.
Not like super different, but Cooper definitely has an edge to him in the first episode or in the movie that he doesn't have
okay.
any other time.
Okay.
But yeah, so yeah, no, great scene where we hear him talking to Diane on the tape recorder.
Yes.
And the camera's going through his room. as he's talking about like the hotel is nice and cheap and it's good, but the true test of the hotel is going to be the coffee that comes up later. And then we find him hanging upside down in his underpants, which had me locked in.
That's great.
As Sheriff Truman indicated they would, everything this hotel promised, they've delivered. Clean, reasonably priced accommodations. Telephone works, bathroom in really tip-top shape, no drips, plenty of hot water, and good steady pressure that could be a side benefit of the waterfall outside my window.
I don't mind whatever's happening.
Lumps like that time I told you about down in El Paso. What a nightmare that was. But of course, you've heard me tell that story once or twice, haven't you, Diane? Haven't tried the television set yet.
Well, that's
like
Cooper.
Cable, probably no reception problems.
Oh.
But the true test of any hotel, as you well know, Diane, is that morning cup of coffee, which I'll be getting back to you about within a half hour.
I love it.
Yeah. And any specific thoughts about that intro? You've heard him talk to Diane one other time, I believe, right?
Yes, that was the second time.
Yeah.
I was about to say, that is the second time that I've seen him talk to Diana through a recorder. So, that's interesting. I'm glad to see that that is like, without context of watching that first time that I watched Cooper talk to the recorder, I was like, what is he doing? And like, I'm glad that that is the first thing that you should watch of Cooper. I'm glad that that is, if you watch this in order, it's great. So it's a good introduction to his character and how I like seeing Cooper. Cooper is very whimsy in this episode. Like he's got a whimsy vibe to him, and it's different from what I've previously seen with Cooper. Like he is in season 2, I get the vibe that he is like, he's got some like silly moments, but he is very much a straight shooter in season 2 for the most part. Like he's very like serious, all business kind of dude. So I'm happy to see his whimsy side, his little like, I'm jumping ahead, but he's like, I would like 2 extra slices of pie. And like he hangs upside down in his hotel room in his underwear, and he likes coffee black.
My initial thought of that was that like, oh, it's for sit-ups, right? Like he hooks it up and then he does sit-ups, or hanging upside down. But like, from what we kind of know of him now, but like he might just do that to get blood circulation in it for like some kind of weird meditation thing, right? Like my very first time watching it, I'm like, oh, that's just like sit-ups. He's doing this. No, I think it's like some kind of meditation thing where he's just letting the blood flow to his head.
And that's so like whimsy of him. It's very like eccentric personality type deal. And so I really like seeing that side of Cooper. Very like, it just makes me like him even more kind of deal.
Yeah.
In the next part, he meets Audrey, and
well, before that, he orders breakfast with a few lines that I absolutely love.
You know, this is, excuse me, a damn fine cup of coffee. I've had, I can't tell you how many cups of coffee in my life, and this is one of the best. Now, I'd like 2 eggs over hard. I know, don't tell me, it's hard on the arteries, but old habits die hard. Just about as hard as I want those eggs. Bacon, super crispy, almost burned. Cremated. That's great.
I love the way he's
cremated.
Grapefruit juice. Just as long as those grapefruits are freshly squeezed.
My name's Audrey Horn.
Federal Bureau of Investigation, Special Agent Dale Cooper.
I want the bacon burnt, cremated. As well as one of my favorite lines is like, I want my eggs over hard. I know it's bad for the cholesterol, but habits are hard to break. about as hard as I want those eggs.
Yeah.
Which is just like, it's an insane way to order something.
Yeah, it is. That's what I mean. He is so whimsy in that first scene. Like, you're like,
It's
who
all
the
about the
fuck is
food
this
too.
guy?
It's like
Yeah.
he's like, I love my food and I want it my way. Like, and like there is a side to him that could be interpreted as rude, because like as she pours the coffee and starts to walk away, he like holds his hand up and is like, 1 second.
Yes.
And so like there's a side to him that like you could look at as rude, and like he does the same thing when he meets Annie way later. Like,
Yeah.
Right, like where we see him start to flirt with her for the first time, but right, and he's like, no, let me taste it first, right? So there's a side that could be rude, but he never comes off that way, and I don't know how he does it. Like it's a magic trick. It truly is.
Yes, I love it. Yeah, so then he meets Audrey for the first time, and this is the first time that I heard that Audrey has a brother. I don't think I've seen him ever. If I have, then I don't remember him that well.
The very first episode that we watched, episode 15 of season 2, I did point him out in the only scene he's in so far for us.
Yes, okay.
Where he was in a Native American headdress, and was just yelling, repeating what other people said.
Yeah. It's basically minimal that I didn't even realize she had a brother.
I'm only sharing that just to like be like, oh well, we did, but like no one should expect to remember that. And even if you knew that like she had a brother, it would be like completely reasonable to also forget that he was like even in season 2.
Yeah. Yeah. I liked the chemistry between Audrey and Cooper a lot.
God, she was so horny for him in that scene.
She was. Yes, she was.
So horny, man. It was
I
so
liked
much.
that scene a lot. I liked that scene quite a bit. It was very fun to watch.
She could not settle down in her chair. It was insane, man. Like
I feel like I have been on a shipping train right now. Like
I've read your Discord title. I know.
I have been. So for those that are new to me as a person watching this podcast, I like shipping in media. So like I'll pick 2 characters and I'll be like them together forever. So recently it has been Hermione. I love Draco and Hermione together. My most recent one that I have latched onto that I forgot that I was obsessed with when I was younger is Zuko and Katara from Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm very much on that train right now.
I'm noticing a theme.
And so I feel like Cooper and Audrey, I know it's problematic because of how old she is in the show. I know that. But I feel like that is like, I've only seen maybe like 3 episodes of them together so far and their interactions, but those 3 interactions have really stood out in my mind. Like they have really more so than like, even though they're an actual couple in the show, like Harry and Josie, I didn't really feel the chemistry between those 2. And I know that in this episode later,
like them just walking into a scene and making out and not really having a conversation doesn't mean chemistry for you?
Yeah, no, unfortunately not. And so I really like Cooper and Audrey together. And like to me right now, they are endgame. They are endgame. That is endgame for me. And so I mean,
but this is the rare circumstance where you're entering the shipping of that, knowing that that's not what happens.
I know, and that's, you see, the theme of my ships is that they don't actually happen. That is theme going on here.
But besides this specific one, the theme of your ships is men who bully women and the woman who can put them in their place.
Yes.
is the theme.
So true.
And that's not the case here.
It's not. It's
that'd
not.
be
But
closer
I
to like
feel,
Bobby and Audrey.
but like I really like them together. Like Cooper and Audrey are very like I feel their chemistry.
They have a lot of
like them a
chemistry, like
lot.
immediately, and
Yeah.
they're both very attractive, and they both do the starry-eyed gaze very well. And Audrey can really sell it, being like just. God, the way she just constantly wiggles in her chair is both uncomfortable and also like, oh, she's so horny for him. Like she's sopping wet for this guy. Like it's insane. Which, you know, I get small town, you get a hot FBI agent who shows up and he looks like Dale Cooper. Yeah, I'm
get
also
it.
sopping wet for him.
it.
Like absolutely, yeah. Yes.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, anyway, I just like them a lot. I feel
Yeah.
like they're endgame to me, and I don't care what anyone
We're taking
says.
so long at this singular scene
We
of just
are.
them making eyes, and like nothing of import happens in the scene either. It's just a little flirt, like showing that they get introduced.
Yes, yes.
But oh lord.
Oh lord. Okay, this is gonna be a long podcast episode. I can feel
Yeah,
it. Okay.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's
okay,
a good episode.
it is. It
We're
is a
finally
good
in
episode.
the good stuff, and
Oh my
you can
God.
experience that.
Yes, exactly. Oh my goodness. The next scene is Cooper going to the police department for the day. Lucy is there.
What a day to forego the donuts.
Hey, 3 for 3. Sheriff, let's get James Hurley up from cell 4 and talk to him straight. He was in love with Laura Palmer. My bet is she told him whatever dirt she knew about Mike and Bobby and who knows what else. Then let's have a little chat with those two perpetrators. Let's also run a top to bottom on Bobby's vehicle, see what that brings us. We'll also check on the autopsy on Laura Palmer and see what that brings in. Oh, we're also gonna want to talk to Mr. and Mrs. Palmer, but let's give them a few days to deal with their grief. Now, I've got the rest of our day mapped out. Let's meet back here in 3 minutes. Harry, I really have to urinate. Oh, by the way, coffee at the Great Northern, incredible.
I mean, that was one hell of a bite of donut. Like,
That
no wonder it
was.
takes them so
You have to
long
chew
to
so
swallow.
much.
Yeah.
No, I delivered Laura. I've known her all her life. She was my daughter's best friend.
There. Harry, I put the descriptor of bumbling next to him because it's very funny that Cooper's like this is the business we're down to, and then Harry is eating a donut. Like he took a really big bite of that donut. And is
So
chewing
much so
it
that like the
entire
initial
time.
bite didn't work. He had to like then stuff
Yeah.
his fingers into his mouth to get the rest of the donut in
Yeah.
there, which is very funny.
Yes. I really like that of Harry. I enjoyed that. And then immediately the next scene afterwards is Leo. And then I put the descriptor of Leo, not sad.
Who would do a thing like that?
Leo!
Big pussy.
Coming off of that scene, it's so emotional, and you're just like, big pussy cat.
Did you finish cleaning my boots?
Oh, there's Leo. I've never.
Yeah, I did.
Leo
I'm
looks-
too.
All of it?
He's up and about.
Well, yeah.
No, you didn't.
Poor Shelly.
Okay, Leo, when I get home, I'll do it.
Now, Shelley.
Bye.
As in, he's not, he's in right state of mind in this episode. And
Yeah, so does this change how you felt about Leo previously?
Yes. I do, it's because I came from the other direction with Leo that I did feel bad for him, in how he ends up like in Wyndham Earl's kind of, in his clutches. And like, yeah, this episode, like, he is like abusive to Shelly. Like, we're not gonna beat around the bush with that. He is
No.
an abusive husband to her. And that's not great. And he does kind of get his just desserts, with Wyndham Earl, but I wish he got his just desserts when he's in the right state of mind. There's something kind of like, oh, Leo's getting his just desserts, but like he's a disabled man right now, and I don't
Right.
really, I'm not a big fan of that.
Yeah.
And so seeing where Leo starts, I'm like, oh, he's like actually just a shitty person. He's like
Yeah.
just shitty. I wish he was this Leo now being tortured by Wyndham Earl. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I wish it was that kind of deal
That's
going on.
super
but-
interesting because I never thought of that personally, like watching it through the normal way. It's never crossed my mind that it's like,
Mhm.
oh, I wish he was the normal one getting punished instead of this, instead of punishing a mentally disabled person,
Yeah.
right? like that didn't cross my mind. Instead, I was always like, I feel like they're framing this like we're supposed to forgive him, which is where my
Right.
brain was stuck at. But no, that's a really interesting point about that. So yeah, I'm definitely carrying that forward in my worldview.
That's fair. That's fair.
About
You
the
know
show
what?
from now on in the second half. Yeah.
I do think that it is like looking at it from I can see from the direction, like if you watch this normally, I can see that like, oh, like this is kind of like a quote unquote redemption in a sense of like Leo is getting like the karma that he has acquired throughout season 1, which I imagine it's going to get worse for Shelly, unfortunately. But yeah, I think because I came from the other direction, I do feel a little bit more sympathy for Leo than I should. And I don't know if that's right because I came from it in the wrong direction. But yeah, it was just interesting to see him from in a different point of view, that he is not a nice guy.
Yeah.
It's kinda shitty.
So on that note, there's this little transition that I really like. They're like, because after Cooper goes to the restroom, is the next scene them talking to Doc Hayward, I believe, right?
Scene 4. No, the next scene after this is James being questioned at the police
Oh,
station.
okay.
Yeah.
When does the Leo thing show up then?
In this episode?
Yeah, did we just start talking about Leo apropos of nothing?
No, it's okay. It's scene 1, the hotel. Scene 2, the police department. Scene 3 is Leo and Shelly at home.
Okay, so before that though,
Yeah.
So Cooper runs to the restroom and then he comes back and they talk to Doc Hayward, right? And then it goes to
I think I remember. I think I remember that. Yeah.
which is where we find out that she had sexual relations with 3 men.
Right. That's right. That's right.
The night of her death, and that she has a bunch of different abrasions and stuff, and that
Right.
Doc Hayward couldn't perform the autopsy himself and had to be an
Right.
assistant on it.
Right.
But the interesting point that I want to bring up there, as well as if you have any comments on that part,
Okay.
but since we were talking about the Leo thing, there's this like really fun transition. Like I love this type of shit whenever it pops up. Of like, there's a transition where Doc Hayward's like, who could do such a thing? And then we get it like a J cut of Shelly being like, Leo, like calling to him in the truck as if it was answering the question, who could do this type of thing. I love that shit every time. Because like, hey, I love J cuts in the first place. Like, give me the audio cue first and then have it cut there. I think that's a fun transition if you do it right. But to do that where someone's answering the question that was posed is always really fun. And I know it's like a little tacky, it's a little hack or whatever. Like people do that. But every time it happens, I feel so happy personally. I'm like, yes, that's great.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I enjoyed not enjoyed, I think that's the wrong word. I like that too. I think that it's like a subtle way of like people of like hinting at something or showing information that the viewer may not necessarily know about, kind of deal. And so, yeah, I like it. Yeah, I going up to the Doc Hayward scene, yeah, I completely forgot about that. I glazed over it. I'm glad that I get more context of the crime that's going on, because like I've been hearing like, you know, Laura Palmer, but like I don't know what happened, and so I'm glad that I finally know what's going on with that and where that is going. So, yeah, that's all I have to really say about that scene.
Yeah.
James, you were in love with Laura. The two of you were seeing each other secretly. No one else at school or any of her friends knew about it. She was a homecoming queen. She was dating the captain of the football team. How much longer did you think you could keep this relationship a secret?
Well, it was secret because that's the way she wanted it.
Why? Was she
I'm
afraid
glad to
of
see that
bodies?
James isn't a temp character from season 2.
I think so.
Mainstay. Because I really like
Yeah, she
him.
was using
Did he
cocaine.
give you that vibe?
Yeah, he gave me, well, because like he didn't show up for a couple
Should we use cocaine
episodes
with her?
in season 2 at the
No, I tried to get her to
beginning-ish.
And she did, for a while.
Why did she start using again?
Something happened a couple of days ago.
Nope, he's
What?
been here the whole time.
Okay, I'm happy to hear that.
I think something scared her because she wouldn't see me. She wouldn't even talk to me.
When was the last time you saw her?
The night she died. She snuck out of her house about 9:30. About 12:30, I stopped the bike at the light at Sparkwood and 21. And she jumped off and ran away. I didn't see her again.
Did you and Laura have a fight?
Not exactly. But she said she couldn't see me anymore. She didn't say.
Recognize this necklace?
Yes, sir.
God, I love this theme. This theme is so good.
James,
This is the
what
first time
happened
I've
on
heard it.
February 5th? And who has the other half of this?
That might
Yeah,
be
I've
true.
heard
I
that
think.
half. That half.
Yeah.
That when it turned happy and now it's more.
James, guess why
Oh.
I'm so happy today?
Oh my God,
Your
this-
skin is so soft and you smell so good.
No.
James, you.
Why?
What is going on?
Because
That's why I'm
I
so
really
happy
believe that
today.
you love me.
God.
Now my heart belongs to you.
Oh.
I'm glad you could see that it's already broken.
No.
James, and I mentioned earlier that I'm glad that James is like a mainstay because I really do like James. I liked him in season 2. Definitely. I was wondering where his character was going to start from, but it doesn't seem like there's going to be, unless something crazy happens, it doesn't seem there's going to be a lot of character growth from James, because he's still painted as a sympathetic character. And so I'm wondering what happens in the first episode that I'm missing of James, because like it just seems like he's getting into really shitty situations all the time and he's always the victim. Like he is going to be or is in trouble with like Bobby and Mike, right? And
Right.
then in season 2, he is essentially the victim of Evelyn, of like, you know, there's like icky stuff going on, and like she framed him for kind of murder, kind of, and all that kind of stuff. So
Well,
I'm wondering
we start
what's
this
going
very
to happen
scene with him
that.
suspected of murder.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so he's always just in a shitty situation, it seems like. And so I'm wondering what kind of character growth, if any, I'm going to see from him, because it seems like he starts and ends in the same place kind of deal, you know? So poor James. Like, he's always getting framed for murder. Like, what the fuck is going on with James? So
To be fair, I
yeah.
don't think he's being framed this time necessarily.
Yes,
he's just,
yeah. But like, he's
suspected
always
of-
in trouble. He's always in trouble
This is
with
true,
something.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah.
to be fair, we do find out that he was dating Laura behind Bobby's back.
Yes. Yeah.
Who Bobby was dating Laura. We find out in
Yes.
this scene that like
Which is
he's
also
the
not
mistress.
great. He's not. Yeah, he's the perpetual mistress, which is like not great.
it does
And,
feel
like,
like, hey,
uh,
maybe I don't want to victim blame for like the situations he's in, but you know, maybe if you keep finding yourselves in these situations because you're dating like married and spoken for women, stop doing that. Maybe there's got to be single women in Twin Peaks, man.
Yeah.
There's got to be single women. If there's not, you're leaving Twin Peaks anyways. Go find a
Yeah.
single woman. Like you don't need to.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's that like not to cut ahead, but we do hear a voicemail talking about James at the very end. Where it's like,
Yes.
he's so sweet, but he's so stupid, or whatever
Yeah.
the line is, right?
Yeah.
But it might call him dumb. Both are applicable to James.
Yeah.
And I think that's what his magic is like the reason why it doesn't work on single women, because Donna's spoken for right now too. We find out
Right.
she's with Bobby or Mike right now, which we
Right.
found out like a couple episodes
Episodes
for
ago,
us.
yeah.
Was that like, oh, they used to date? Well, now we're finding out how they
Yes.
broke up, which is why it's amazing that they were actually close enough to talk like friends. In that
Yeah.
is you look at this breakup, you're like, oh, that's messy. But like, I think that's what his magic is he's just like sweet and dumb enough that like these women who are like with whether it's ambitious men or men who just aren't like super caring or like caught up in whatever they're
Right.
doing.
Right.
They're like, oh, look at this sweetheart who's just so dumb, you know? And that gets these
Yeah.
women to be like, oh, comparing him to who we're currently dating, it's like nice, manageable, and
Yes.
not a problem.
Yes, exactly. Yes. And I can see I can see
But you know,
James
single
being
women would have their
perpetually
own
painted like
stuff
that.
going on that they're like,
Yeah.
a dumb, sweet guy is going to be another headache. you know?
Exactly. Yeah. Oh my god. So yeah. Yeah. Okay. And then the next scene is Bobby and Mike in jail.
Leo called?
Is that Bobby?
Yesterday.
Yep.
He was looking for you.
That's Bobby and Mike.
Where the other half
And
of
Mike,
the
yeah. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Why did you tell him, Snake?
As far as I knew, he didn't have any of it. Because I thought the deal was we're supposed to give it to him today.
Yeah. I gave him half already.
And they're talking about, you know, like, oh, Leo is a bad guy. Like, you don't know, like, Bobby was like, you don't know Leo, to Mike. And it's interesting that, Bobby says that about Leo, knowing that Bobby, in the first couple episodes I saw of season 2, that Bobby is helping Shelly, kind of, not really, with Leo. And so I'm very curious of that dynamic there. Like, I'm missing a piece there of what's going on. So I'm excited to see and learn more about that. They saw Leo the night Laura died. That was the last time that they saw Leo. And then James is brought into jail and they have a staring contest. with
Yes.
James.
On that note, he does talk about having $10,000.
Right.
Well, he paid $10,000 to Leo and owes another $10,000,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Missing a piece. Don't know what's going on there.
Well, we know
Curious to
Laura
see.
had it and it was in her lockbox. But
Yeah.
whatever they're doing with Leo is not cheap.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Next scene is at Donna's house.
God, the late 80s, early 90s must have been a very boring time. If this is like how you like,
If this
you're
is
like,
their fun.
if this is what they're videotaping to be like, hey, look at us, in our youth. Like,
It's 10:30. Wait news must be the sheriff's office. They called this morning and said they'd wait till tomorrow to see you. Your father and I thought you needed your rest. You woke us crying in your sleep last night. No. Really? So bad. So sorry. Oh, it's so strange. I know I should be sad. I know part of me is. It's like I'm having the most beautiful dream. And the most terrible nightmare all at once.
Where Donna tells her mom that she has feelings for James, which I kind of guessed already that was happening.
I bet you guessed that she had feelings for James based off of. Oh boy, this scene annoys the shit out of me because we get a clarification that her best friend who was dating James
Yeah.
died 2 days ago.
Yes. It's kind of icky. It's kind of icky.
Hey, even if you would have the friend's blessing or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of fucked up to take advantage. I feel like that's
Yes,
taking advantage
yeah.
of James at this point. This poor dumb man is going through mourning of his girlfriend just dying, and then you're gonna be there well, let me comfort you.
Yeah. I can see it happening if it was I see it all the time in media, the trope of the whoever dies, the husband dies, and then the husband's best friend and the wife bond together over the death of the friend, right? Of the
Right.
husband/friend. And
Right.
that happens over a series of a year though, right? They usually
both
bond
in
together
media
over the
and
trauma.
in real life.
Yeah.
Both in media and real life, that does happen at
Yes.
a gross rate, not a year,
Yeah.
but we're talking a month later they're with somebody, and sometimes you'll see this pop up especially on Reddit or whatever, of this person just lost someone and now they're with someone immediately, and it's there's probably an affair beforehand, or they were waiting for this to happen or whatever. And it's this person has a hole in them. And they don't know how to share that with someone, and especially for certain people who are raised a certain way of not being able to share that kind of grief with other people.
Yeah.
You immediately want to find a partner to fill that hole and to be able to share these emotions you have, because you lost the person you would share those emotions with. And so you're immediately trying to fill that hole. It doesn't always mean that something was going on beforehand.
Exactly.
But it is
Yes.
bad. And it is not good. And it's not healthy.
It's not healthy.
and another person who's kind of aware of that should also maybe not take advantage of them. Maybe.
Yeah. I agree with that. I understand that it happens. And I get
they're
that
teenagers.
it could happen. And they're teenagers. I get it.
Things
And
move
so-
fast as a teen. To be
Yeah,
fair.
but 2 days ago, that's kind of ooh, you couldn't have waited one more episode. This is
Yeah.
you couldn't have waited, just a little bit longer, just a little little tad bit longer, 3 days at least,
Give us the
So-
burn of them like bonding over it and then falling in love. Don't give us the
Exactly, there you go.
Oh, they're immediately back in love or
Yes,
in love with each
yes.
other because now this person's out of the way. Like that's just
Yes.
that's just gross.
Yeah,
at
exactly.
best. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's how I feel about that scene.
Yeah.
The next scene is back at the police station, and we meet Ed for the first time.
How's that coconut?
It's kind of tender, but my pride hurts worse.
Ed, this is Special Agent Dale Cooper.
Pleasure.
Any relation to James?
I'm his uncle, and he works in my garage. His mother's out of town, and I look after her, but she's away. You fellas plan on holding him?
No, we can release him into your custody.
Let me understand, is James being charged?
Well, I had one small doubt, which he cleared up for me. He didn't kill anybody. But you tell him to be careful because we're gonna have to release Mike and Bobby today as well.
Will do.
Agent Cooper, I've got a call for you from a Mr. Albert Rosenfeld. Sounds like long distance.
Excuse me.
Sure.
It has that open air sound, where it sounds like wind blowing? Like wind blowing through trees?
Yes, Albert.
Okay, Lucy, we get it. Thank you. Thank you, Lucy.
I first saw the advantage of that. Maybe hold it.
You're just dismissive of like, we get it, Lucy.
Was there seeing Norma, but that was also a mistake.
Yep.
Ed, Uncle Ed with James, Coop and Harry. We find out that Ed was drugged. That's how he hit his coconut, as Harry put it. And then Coop gets a call from Albert Rosenfield. It sounds like it's long distance, because the wind is the wind. The wind's going.
It sounds like it's in the open air, where the wind is blowing. It's in the open air, Coop.
Thanks, Lucy. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm glad to see that Lucy is still as Lucy as ever. I'm glad to see that.
It's the perfect amount of it, though, to be fair.
Yes,
like it is very funny, but it doesn't overstay its welcome.
It's not over. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's not over pronounced.
Yeah.
And then the next scene is Norma and Nadine at the store.
Well, what did you make of like Harry and Ed's conversation privately from Cooper?
I don't like. It was just more information, I guess. Like I don't really have an opinion on it. He was drugged at the
I think this is
bar.
also a good time to ask a different question that I had in mind.
Okay.
Who we heard on the phone was Albert, who we've met before and we love.
Yep.
Yes. And when he was introduced our first episode with a big bear hug, and I had the question throughout of like, it seems like these people are all very close to each other.
Yeah.
How how do you think that relationship developed? And you were like, oh well, they were probably at odds at first, but something happened to bring them close together, right?
Yeah.
We're now in episode 2.
Yeah.
And it still seems like the chemistry between Harry and Cooper, maybe not as deep, but it's still pretty much like, oh, these two are getting on.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I don't think that Coop and Harry are as close in this episode. I didn't feel that closeness personally. I felt like, to me, it felt that Coop was leading and Harry was just following along. That's how it felt the entire episode. I think the difference is that in the season 2 episodes that I saw, it felt more equal, that like Harry and Coop were both leading each other. They were following each other's lead. Whereas in this episode, it definitely felt that Coop was more in charge and Harry was just tagging along. So I didn't
leading
feel
to the
that...
scene later where he's like, yeah, I need to study medicine because I'm starting to feel like Watson.
Yes, exactly. Like that's how I felt in this episode. That, like, when Coop was questioning James, it was Coop leading the interrogation, right? It wasn't
Yeah.
Harry. Whereas I've definitely felt in previous episodes that they were more on equal grounds. So, yeah, that's how I felt with this episode. I didn't feel
Okay.
that closeness. Yeah. I didn't feel that closeness with them at all. So Harry like barely talked in this episode. Like he was there for a lot of the scenes, but maybe like a handful of times that Harry had lines. And so yeah, I don't feel that closeness with them yet.
All right.
That's how I feel about it. Yeah, and then the next scene is Norma and Nadine. I'm glad to see that most of the mainstays are still.
Hi, Nadine.
Like these are
What
all.
are you
Oh,
doing here,
Nadine!
I might ask
Yeah.
you the same question.
And I will tell you, I've gotten all new drapes for my house. Ed bought them for me yesterday at Gentleman Jim's, and we installed them together. They're a beige sheer. I was up all last night. Do you
So she
know
still has
what
the
I was doing?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
But
I
she
was
does seem to be
inventing a noiseless,
well, maybe not her right mind,
completely
but
silent drape runner. And
not
do you know how it works?
what
Do you
she
know
thought
what
she is
makes
later.
it work? The thing I thought of at 4 this morning when I was waiting for my husband to be released from intensive care.
Cotton balls.
Huh?
By God, those things will be quiet now.
Okay, so she's still crazy. Okay, still crazy.
still crazy, just different. Different crazy.
Did you have to post bail?
No, I had a talk with Harry. There's no charge.
Oh, so I...
No comment on Hawk being here this early either. I know
I
you only
know,
showed
I'm
up
so
and then walked
excited.
away, but
Yeah. I still love him.
Already got it covered.
Nadine is still crazy. I'm sad that she has the eye patch because I was hoping that would be explained throughout this season 1, but it's not. So she still has an eye patch. Maybe in the first episode it is explained. I doubt it at this point. But yeah.
if it was,
I
what's
hope-
your theory because as you probably guessed, the first episode is probably about Laura Palmer.
Yes, yeah.
How would her losing her eye be related to Laura Palmer?
Well, I
No,
don't think
quickly,
it'd be like
theory.
okay, what I thought that Nadine's losing her eye had to do with her being crazy. Like she hit her head,
Right.
something undone in her head, and now she's crazy. Like that's and like season 2 is just a more escalated version of like that screw being loose, right? But no,
Right.
in season 1, episode 2, she is just as crazy, but a different kind of crazy. And so I was hoping to see, like, you know, either like knowing Nadine, it's something stupid. Like she ran into a doorknob or something, and then like that's what happened. But yeah, that's kind of what I was hoping to get with Nadine.
Okay.
But it seems like she's just a crazy character, for the most part. And that's
She's there for us to sympathize
Yeah.
with Ed for why he's cheating and being with Norma. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, it was interesting. Norma was just like, okay, girl, you're crazy.
This is a
Like, that's
really
how
interesting.
It was.
This is a really interesting scene as well of like how much does Nadine know? Right?
Yeah.
Because like we know that Ed was with Norma the night before because he says that
Yes.
like yeah, we were going to the bar to yes, I was there to meet up with Norma, but I was also staking the place out or whatever, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Which you're like, sure, Ed.
Sure.
But you know, so they were there the night before together.
Mhm.
And Nadine kind of seems to reference like, well, I was waiting for my husband at 4 in
Yes.
the morning while he's in intensive care. And then she pivots to be like, cotton balls. so like, there's this weird tension of like, does she know what's going on? Or is she just so
Yeah.
disconnected that she doesn't care that her
Yeah.
husband got assaulted?
Mhm. I think because I came from the other direction, like the tension's just not there for me. Like she's just like, oh, she's just crazy. Like she's just okay. Like okay. If it
so
would not
interesting.
surprise me. It would not surprise me if she knew by this point that her husband is cheating on her with Norma. It would not surprise me. So, yeah, that's how I feel about that.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
really interesting. You're like, there's no tension in this scene because I know where it's going and it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Like it does
Yeah.
not matter if she knows or doesn't.
Yeah, I think it makes for a funny interaction. It's more comic relief than anything, you know?
Right.
That's how I feel about it. Okay, and then the next scene is back at the police station with Bobby, Mike, Coop, and Harry, where Coop and Harry, well, mostly Coop, tells Bobby and Mike that they can go. And like
He's sending down a whistle.
Don't let anything happen to James, because if something happens to James, I'm coming after you. So, yeah.
He's whittling down a whistle
Yes, exactly.
during the scene.
Yeah. And then the next scene afterwards is the thing that I have the most notes on actually is
Okay.
the Pete, Josie, Catherine, Coop, Harry scene.
On
Catherine
top of the morning to you, Pete.
and Josie.
No, Josie.
Yeah.
The expression is top of the morning.
I love that you see
it's
Pete in your first line. It's like, oh, Catherine's gonna be here.
Pete, I want to thank you for yesterday, for standing up to me with Catherine.
Forget it.
It's nice to see Josie not in hysterics. That I actually get to see Josie as a character and not just her
Damsel in
being...
distress. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I like seeing that. We hear about Josie and Harry for what would be the viewer's first time, and that Josie hired Laura for English lessons, which is kind of cool.
What
A little
is
backstory
shenanigans?
Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
We get some real iconic lines in this one where
We do.
the Pete coming in and being like, "Wait, don't drink that."
Mr. Cooper, how do you take it?
Black as midnight on a moonless night.
Pretty black.
That's what my mug says. Black as midnight on a moonless night.
Oh, cute.
Yeah.
Mrs. Packard, I'll come straight to the point. Mrs.
Fellas, don't drink that coffee. You'd never guess. There was a fish in the percolator. Sorry.
Iconic line.
Andrew died a year and a half ago. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. I'm literally editing the episode. You're like, yeah, I'm excited to see like him before he died and like how to fake his death or whatever. And I just have to be quiet. I'm like, he was dead at the start.
You really think that would make Brother Andrew happy?
Ooh. Yeah.
You'll never believe this. There was a fish in the percolator is like an iconic line for a lot of people.
For Twin Peaks.
Yeah, people love that line, and obviously the same one. Like I mentioned, I have it on my mug here. The black as midnight on a moonless night, and Pete's like,
yeah.
That's pretty black. But yeah, what notes or thoughts did you have on the scene in particular, or was it just the good to not see Josie being a?
Yeah, it was good to just not see Josie in a damsel in distress. I like seeing her back story. I like seeing the interaction that she had with Pete at the beginning. Like it seemed that they're close, you know.
Yeah.
Pete thanks, or Josie thanks Pete for standing up to Catherine for her. And so I want to see that. And then the thing that I have the most notes for is like Andrew is already dead.
Yes.
Andrew does not die during the show, but Josie, who was with Andrew, together with him, is already dead a year and a half ago. That's the notes
Right.
I have. Andrew died a year and a half ago, which is I don't know how I feel about that. I guess I'll have to see more of Josie's character to figure out if
No,
like
I want to
that.
explore how you feel about that. I know you don't know, but like let's talk about it real quick because this is a big revelation for you.
Yeah,
watching
so,
it the
like,
wrong way is that he's
I,
already dead.
I'm curious as to how Josie is like, because clearly Catherine was threatened by Josie. Like, Catherine feels very threatened by her in season 2, and that's why she goes so hard against Josie. And so I am still waiting for that moment of Josie. Like, Josie is not that, intimidating. I think the term that you used before was femme fatale type of character yet. Like, Josie's not there. And so and also Josie's introduced in this scene as like already being with Harry. And so I'm wondering how does she become this, like, how does she use like her body to get what she wants type of deal? Like, if she is like this strong character who knows how to manipulate men. Because like it doesn't, I don't see that happening until, like, I need to see that, basically. I need to see that character of her, and I haven't gotten that yet. And she's already
You're
kind
on
of
the
in
two opposite ends before that reveal
Yeah.
happens of it, and then the fallout of that reveal. But you
Yeah,
haven't seen the
so-
actual reveal and her being that, so it's hard for
Yeah,
you to like
'cause-
conceptualize it.
Exactly, because right now she's painted as a more sympathetic character with this episode. Like, oh, her husband died, a year and a half ago. And it sounds like Catherine was already kind of bullying Josie in a scene that I haven't seen yet, where Pete protected Josie from Catherine. And so where is this master manipulator kind of deal? And so
Yeah.
I see basically two different characters, of one that I want to expect and one that I've already seen. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
it's at a disconnect for me. I don't know where that lies, and that's how I feel about it.
So, in a different vein of this same topic, how do you feel about Andrew coming back now that you know he was dead before the show even started?
Now that is something that I feel a little differently about it now, because okay, one of my favorite scenes that we've seen so far is that elevator scene of Andrew
And that's
and
with
Thomas
Exer
in the
That's
elevator.
Such a
Yeah.
good scene, though.
That is
Like-
such a good scene. It is my favorite scene. However, like, has Andrew's return always been planned? And you don't have to answer that question. But like, was that just brought into the show of like, oh yeah, like Andrew's actually alive, in order to like end Josie's arc? You know what I mean? Like, it seems like it was just like they were talking in the writer's room and they needed an idea to move the show forward, and some writer was like, what if Andrew is still alive? And they ran with it, kind of deal. Like,
it definitely gives vibes, especially knowing
it
that
gives
now.
vibes of that.
Of
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh, all the main showrunners and people who were guiding the ship left.
Yeah.
What do we do?
Yes.
Let's bring. This is a good twist, right? We're playing
Yeah.
with soap opera. Let's
Yes,
just be soap
yeah.
opera.
Yes.
Instead of
yes.
like playing with being soap opera and like critiquing it, they just did the thing.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so like for sure. You said I didn't have to answer that, and I'm not going to, because I don't have an answer for whether it was planned or not. I do have a theory, which I had brought up before, which is that like I think they had an idea of what they wanted to do with Josie, but and left like a Cliff Notes version of like, here's the plot line of what we wanted to do with Josie. We're leaving. Here's the Cliff Notes of it. right? And kind of left, right? Like I think that's what they did with the character, and then the new writers had no idea how to handle that entire plot line. And so like whether him coming back was part of that or not, I have no idea. But it does give feelings of like, well, they were going to do this with it, but then they left and the new people didn't really know how to pick up the pieces.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's how I feel about it for sure.
That said, I don't think it's worth him coming back, but that scene of him being back in his character is very good. And so it's like, yeah. But you were a lot more invested in it before, and then now finding out that he's was already dead. Like I was wondering if that changed how you felt about it, and it sounds like it kind of does a little bit.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Catherine and Ben Horn. Is that Andrew? And we just don't see him until season 2? Ooh, that's interesting. My fucking web is a mess, Mac. Oh my god.
What is shenanigans?
Nonsense, mischief, often a deceitful and treacherous trick.
I quote that all the time.
Why do you always have to rush off?
Oh?
It's been over an hour.
So it's not her brother.
Okay,
like you
it's
thought.
not. It's not. Never mind.
Passing time. This hour will soon seem like
Oh,
It's
that's
Ben
the drug
Horn!
guy. Oh my god, with Ben Horn.
Sorry.
Yeah, so now it makes sense why she visited him right before he turned Confederate, like fully, and they had their scene.
I see.
Yeah.
Sweetheart, it's all the same to me.
Don't, sweetheart.
God, I love this scene so much.
Yeah, in the bed together.
Yeah, this is a revelation for you, and I've been sitting on this because it's like, ooh.
Yeah.
like because you were talking about like, oh, what's next for like Ben Horn? What's next for Catherine? And like in later stuff. And like when I brought up, oh, well, they seem to be at odds. You're like, they barely interact except for that one weird scene. And I had to recompute in my mind of like, oh yeah, you don't know that like they've been fucking on the regular as two evil people just fucking and making plots.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, you don't know that.
Yeah, so that was interesting to see. Yeah, two evil people. I've definitely kind of flipped in my head on Ben Horn a lot because of this scene. Like Ben Horn definitely, it's because of that stupid freaking Confederate scene. Like it paints him in such a in a very like sympathetic light. Like he's like, oh, he's sick. Like this is a sick man. Like
oh,
he
that's
is
what you
ill.
need on flip on him.
He is ill.
Real quick, what I thought you meant by flip on him was like your enjoyment of him, of like,
yeah.
Oh, I flipped on him because that was really rough and didn't get me invested in his character. And now he's a fun evil guy. But no, it sounds like you flipped in like, oh, he was mentally ill before and he seemed to be like an environmentalist but now it turns out he's a piece of shit. Like
yeah, exactly. Like, oh, like he's a mentally ill man, and then exactly. I was like, oh, he's like an environmentalist. Like that's kind of cool. Like he's gonna save the pine weasel, whatever. And then like, oh, like he's just like an evil guy with Catherine.
Yeah.
Which is like, it's an interesting character change. I don't know if I like it personally. Like I would love to see where this goes more with Catherine, because that's last scene I saw of them together, of Catherine kind of like it felt like a goodbye scene between Catherine and Ben Horn. You know, like it felt like a closure between the two. Whether that is like an at odds
Where she
closure,
questions whether he's actually changed or not. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Like I'm wondering where that goes, which is interesting. But it's interesting to see where they started. But yeah, I don't know how to put that together yet. It's interesting.
So
I still like Catherine.
Yes, I love Catherine. I love Ben. I think Ben is great to watch. He has a presence about him, especially when he knows he's being a shithead, that I eat up. It's so good. And we get that a lot in this scene of like he reveals that he's like, but we have a plan, like, you know, and like them getting horny about arson. It's just so much of them being like, it's two evil people making an evil plan and getting horny about it. And I'm like, I love this so much. On that note, what can you pick up about their plan from what bit you know or don't know?
It sounds like Josie is part of it, which is like, again, another interesting thing because like in the end of like Catherine versus Josie, Catherine ultimately won.
Right.
Like, and so like, why is Catherine going so hard against Josie? Like, I'm missing that kind of plot piece of like, what happened here? Like, is it because
You're not
Catherine
missing that plot piece? We know, you and I know from the horrible way we're watching it, that Josie tried to kill her brother.
Yes.
And failed.
Yes. I do know that. It's just like I think it's always because I don't see like the middle of it. Like, I don't see how ever Josie gets the upper hand, basically. Like, it looks like it from what I've seen so far, it just looks like Catherine is punching down at Josie at all times, which I'm not a big fan of. Like, I mean,
that's also could be fun for a villain.
Yeah, I guess. It's just like, it makes me feel more sympathetic to Josie, and like, it makes me think not less of Catherine, but like,
You're expecting a battle of wits, and you're just getting like a
exactly.
bully.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And like, I don't like that from what I've seen so far. Like, yes, Josie tried to kill her brother. Like, yes, but I haven't seen that yet, right? And so because I haven't seen that, it literally just looks like that Catherine is punching down on Josie the entire 2 seasons. And so I don't like that light of Catherine. I want Catherine to feel desperate. I haven't seen a desperate Catherine yet. I want to see her kind of fight for herself, kind of deal. And so
even if Catherine was in a bad position, does she seem like the type to ever get desperate?
I don't think, like, not desperate, like you know, like she's like,
you want her to be in a fight, though.
But I want her to be in a fight. Yes, I want her to be on the downside of the fight. Like, I want her to fight back, because if it's just you know, the one thing that Josie does, which is try to kill her brother, like, it doesn't seem like enough for me, you know, like, that's the one bad thing Josie does. But like, Catherine wants to burn down the business.
In real life, that would be enough. But like in media, as we're consuming it, we're not really shown that. We don't feel that. So even if we have that knowledge, it's kind of like, well, who the fuck cares?
Yeah, exactly. Well, like, it's kind of like, I do it as a tally, right? Like, if in my head, if Josie and Catherine, I were to put tally marks on like who won, right? Like, Catherine wants to burn down the mill. That's one. Oh, Catherine is, you know, teasing Josie in that one scene where she teases the gun against Josie, and Josie kind of takes it, right? That's another one for Catherine. Like,
makes
Catherine
Josie a maid in front of her
makes Josie a maid in front of
and talks about selling her.
Yes, exactly.
Like
that's
such
another
an
one.
Escalation.
Yes, exactly. And like that, those are like 3 ticks on Catherine's side, right? And then the one tick on Josie's side is like she tries to kill her brother. And like you can argue like the weight of it, right? Like the weights of the different ticks are different, but when I look at it as a whole, Catherine has way more ticks on her side compared to Josie, of what I know of Josie. And so I want Josie to have more ticks on her side. I need to see that in order to justify kind of Catherine's punching down on her. Because right now it just looks like Catherine's punching down.
Also, like when Josie dies, Catherine's like the one who almost gives like a memorial for her to Eckhart's secretary or whatever, being like, oh, you know, she was different. And like, you know, she seems to have this awareness of Josie as a person that everyone else seems to not, as like, oh, she was the exotic, beautiful lady. And Catherine seems to have this like, well, no, she was more than that.
Yeah.
But we're not seeing the more than that. So you're like,
yes.
If Catherine really thinks that, and that's why she was this way towards her, with like some kind of mutual respect for who she was, and that's why it was like so dangerous or whatever, then you need to see that, not just be told that this happened previously.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That's exactly how I feel about it. Because, sure, in real life, and I hear someone tried to kill someone's brother, I'd be like, yeah, fuck, like,
like
go hard.
All of the stuff is justified now. Yeah, 100%.
But
it's media.
It's media, exactly. And so, like, I like a powerful woman. Like, I like Catherine a lot because she is a very, like, even though she's evil, I do like that side of like seeing that.
It's fun evil, because, for sure.
Yeah, it's a fun evil. And like Catherine, I like the thing that I had about the two different things in my head, right? Is like Catherine is a conniving, like, I don't know how to describe it, but like, you know, like there's like not two types, but like there is types of like evil women that women are portrayed in media. One is the femme fatale, that represents Josie, and then the other is like, I don't know what the word is.
Girl boss.
But like the trope, like a girl boss. Yes, exactly. like
evil girl
Catherine
boss.
is a girl boss.
Sure.
Yes. And so those are the two types of women that like I'm supposed to like see in them, but I'm missing that piece of Josie. Of like, what is the femme fatale of Josie?
Yeah.
Where is that? And I don't see that. And so that's why it kind of like, I want to see more. That's why I think that is
to be fair, there's about 20 episodes in between what you've seen and where we're at currently.
So that's why I'm excited to see it, because like now I can only judge what I see in front of me, right? Like that's the whole point.
It's
like
slightly different dynamics, but neither of them puts Josie in a position of power.
Yes, exactly. So I that's why I can only, like I said, I can only judge what I've seen. And what I've seen so far is I don't like that of Catherine. I don't want to see a girl boss punching down, because that's not girl boss. You're just a bully. You're just an asshole. And I don't like that. So yeah.
No, for sure.
Okay, the next scene is Leland and Sarah talking with Donna about Laura.
That pizza off on it too. Smoky.
They were just about to leave. Okay.
Yeah. But they talked about arson and now they're horny again. Which is part of why I love that scene so much. It's just like two evil people being evil, and I'm like, I'm here for it, honestly.
I'm sorry to disturb you, sweetheart. But Donna Hayward is here. Take this now.
I don't think you've met him yet.
No, I haven't.
Try not to upset her.
That's Leland Palmer.
Okay.
You've met her once.
Yes, at the funeral scene, right?
Yep.
I don't know what I'm gonna do.
What's her name again?
Sarah Palmer.
Sarah.
I miss so much. Laura, my baby. Oh.
Oh my god, who the fuck? That's the guy who was on the bed when Josie died.
That's the guy who was on the bed when Josie died.
And yeah, the mom is a mess. I put in my notes, mom going through it. And then the next note afterward,
her daughter died 2 days ago.
Yeah. And then literally the next note after is guy with hair, because I didn't know how else to describe the guy that was like I was going to put guy on bed, but that didn't seem right.
No.
So I put guy with hair. And so that's interesting. I want to know
What do you make of that? Okay, here's one sec. Here, I'll
Okay.
give you some leading questions.
Okay.
Did this scare you, first of all, when he just
No.
showed up? No? Okay.
No,
A
it did
lot of
not
people
scare me.
actually get like legitimately scared by that scene where like
Oh,
she's
okay.
hugging and then suddenly like she screams and she sees him, and part of it is like this discombobulation of space, because she's at the edge of this couch and suddenly she's seeing him through the end of a bed, crouch in a weird position, and yeah, a lot of people get like legitimately scared by that. I wasn't one of them, but I was curious to know if you got that. Yeah. What does this mean for you and for your working theory of him being PTSD for Cooper?
Yeah, I thought that was weird because I thought he was a PTSD guy for Cooper. And it's interesting that like I noticed that when he pops up for Sarah, he's at the end of a bed and peering up at her, kind of deal, from that point of view. And it's interesting that he showed up for Cooper on a bed. So, like, clearly, guy with hair is connected with a bed or something. And so, I don't know what to think of it. Right now, it's just like, it's a guy with hair, and he shows up at a bed, and he shows up at weird times. I don't know what to think of it. He's definitely an outer entity of some sort, because it's like Sarah saw him, and if Sarah saw him and Cooper saw him, then that means that there's something else going on here that's not just imagination, right? And so I'm curious, like, what is happening there? I don't know what to think of it. The only thing I can think of is that he is a ghosty guy.
Do you think that, or do you think maybe he might be related to the murder case, and that's why he popped back up when Josie died?
He's definitely related to Laura Palmer. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that he is related to Laura Palmer at some capacity. Whether that he is like an evil, vengeful spirit, or he is more so a warning, like a ghost trying to say a warning to Cooper and Sarah, or
But you're firm that he's like a spirit of some sort. He's not like the actual killer and like is related in a physical sense to this murder case.
I don't think he is physically related to Laura Palmer. I think it seems spiritual to me. It seems like a spiritual thing. The reason why I say that is because of like the only time he shows up is by a bed, and
he's a bed
now that
demon.
I'm talking, now that I'm talking through it. Now that I'm talking through it, Donna mentioned earlier in an earlier scene that she had a very like couple lines where she was like, it's like a dream and a nightmare all in one. Like she's dreaming and having a nightmare. And so like, is it like a dream kind of spirit that is visiting? Like that's why it's associated with like the bed. I'm curious about that. So yeah, that those are my thoughts.
Okay.
I don't have much information else to go off of.
This was your first scene with Leland Palmer. He didn't have much to do, but what did you make of him?
He's
just
he's a
sad
dad.
guy?
He's a dad.
Just a dad. Okay.
Yeah, nothing else to say on him other than that.
Which, fair enough. He had nothing to do in this scene, really, except to come back when Sarah's screaming.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, exactly. The next scene is Hawk at the hospital with Renee's parents, asking questions about her.
Her parents don't get the same treatment that Grace Zabriskie and Ray Wise do.
Yeah.
Where they're like very much like, oh, these are great actors portraying grief. And then like Ronette's parents are like, well, she said it was the best smelling job she ever had. Like ass delivery, right? Like
yeah. I just kind of wrote them off. Like, I don't think they're important later on.
Spoiler alert, they don't show up again.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, I kind of like threw them out in my head. But the more important thing is Hawk and the guy with one arm going to the morgue, which is why I think it's more spiritual.
I don't know. Did you ever meet him?
No, I haven't seen him yet. Guy with one arm.
Excuse me.
Yes. Very close to what he's in the credits as, the one-armed man.
Get him, Hawk! Get him, Hawk! Yeah, you walk. I love him so much. I love him so much. Oh my god. Because he went to the morgue or the oxygen room.
So do you think he's a real person?
I don't think the guy with one arm is a real person. It doesn't seem like it. Yeah.
Else would
I
have
thought
Hawk
that was
lost them, right? Like
Yes, and otherwise, I don't think Hawk would have lost. He should have. Like, I was hoping that Hawk would go more into the room, but he didn't.
Right.
He went to the room. He looked at the dead body in the morgue and was like, okay, and then left. And I was like, okay, Hawk, come on, what the fuck? So, I don't know why Hawk didn't investigate the guy with one arm
or why he
so,
like either why'd he look at him in the first place, or why'd he stop investigating when he walked through the door? Like,
exactly, like, come on, Hawk, you can do better than that.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it's more spiritual.
and Hawk is known to be a great seeker, right? Like Cooper when he's leaving is like, if I'm ever lost, I hope you're the one that they send to find me. And it's like, the guy who gave up after looking through a door and is like, okay, and leaves?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
the guy? You want to find him?
Come on, Hawk. Come on. Ugh.
Listen,
yeah, I don't
you're
have
pretty,
any
but you
other
need to be
thoughts on
competent too, man.
Yes,
Like-
exactly. So
I mean,
don't have any
when you
other
compare
thoughts
that
on
the other person in the police force is Andy, you know what? I think it makes sense that Hawk is there, actually.
Fair enough,
So.
fair enough.
No Andy this episode.
Yeah, no Andy.
Like he was in some of the shots, but he didn't say anything as far
He
as
didn't
I'm
say
aware.
anything. Yes, yeah. He was eating a donut in that one scene.
Yep. Right by a blowtorch.
Yeah.
That guy was blowtorching and he was just eating a donut right by it. Yep.
The next scene is at the hotel with Audrey and Ben Horn.
Laura died 2 days ago. I lost you years ago.
Sounds like they don't have a good relationship.
Yeah. I put Norwegians question mark because I was like, what's going on in this scene? And then bad relationship between Audrey and her dad. And so
Yeah, you see where that relationship goes. How do you feel about that?
feel like it doesn't get a proper resolution. Like, it's kind of like Audrey just goes, you know, oh, I'm gonna help my dad now. Like, I feel like there, especially from what I've seen of season 2, there is no, like, I guess I'm waiting for a scene of, like, where does Audrey and her dad get a mutual understanding of where they come from? And I don't get that.
Yeah.
Especially when she, like, you know, she organizes a thing for her dad with the Pine Weasel thing. And so, yeah, I don't like where it's going, just because I don't like it when things like this are brushed under the rug. Like, I want to see a resolution of, like, characters and, like, where they started versus where they end up. And, like, the fact that I haven't seen, after the Confederate scene, going into the Pine Weasel plot arc of them, like, there is no understanding of, like, you know, Ben Horn realizing how much work his daughter had to do while he was busy being a Confederate general. You know what I mean? Like, there was no, like, kind of acknowledgement on his end of how much his daughter had to do for those. Because, like, she was basically, like, kind of running the hotel while her dad was being all crazy.
Well, not really, because that's why they had to bring in Billy Zane, right? John Justice Wheeler. That's why they had to bring him in, is because no one was running it. Like, she didn't know how, and so
which is fair. But, like, you know,
she was doing her best and was helping.
She was doing
recover.
her best.
Yeah,
yes,
100%.
exactly. She was doing her best, and, like, she was definitely, like, you know, she tried to help her dad and, you know, get help that he needed. You know, like, she
and
brought
there
in
seems
the
to be no
doctor.
acknowledgement of that.
And there's no acknowledgement for him on his end. And so I'm not a big fan of, I'm going to have to see, you know, the rest of season 2 and to see if
do you think they got the well, I guess what my question is, do you think if there is, first of all, do you think there is a resolution? But secondarily, or like as an appendix to that, if there is, do you think it's in between here to where we already got and they already kind of got their resolution then? Or do you think it's going to happen after what we've seen so far?
I hope it's after what we've seen so far, like later in season 2.
Okay.
There's 2 places where I can see it happen. At the end of season 1 or at the end of season 2. Because I haven't seen the beginning of season 2 yet. But I don't think it would be right to have that kind of resolution at the beginning of a season. Structurally, I don't think it would be cool to put that there. And so that's why I'm hoping it's at the end of season 1, if there is one. But I think it would be better if it was at the end of season 2, because it's after all of the stuff that has happened with, like, you know, his illness with the Confederacy, and like the Pine Weasel, and like Catherine's conversation with Ben about the Pine Weasel. Like, have you really changed as a person? I think is a good question for Catherine to ask, because like if you have changed as a person, like, where is your reconciliation with the evil things that you've done? I haven't seen Ben do anything evil yet, but I imagine that it will happen within the first season. And so if Ben, like, I think it's a fair question for Catherine to ask Ben, is like, have you changed as a person? If so, like, prove it. Where is your reconciliation for the bad things that you've done? And I think having it at the end of season 2 would be a better place for it.
Yeah.
For if he was to reconcile with Audrey, it would be after all that she kind of, you know, went through in season 2, to then, you know, her dad recognized, like, oh, you did all this for me, like, thank you, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the better place for it at the end of season 2, if there is one.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Interesting.
That's how I feel about that. Yeah. Okay. The next scene is the General and Bobby, and
Silence can be taken many ways. It's a sign of intelligence. The quieter we become, the more we hear.
Ooh.
tolerant man. My patience has its limits. To have his path made clear is the aspiration of every human being in our beclouded and tempestuous existence.
I mean, he was gonna smoke at the dinner table.
Yeah, but he didn't have to slap him for it.
I mean, you've seen Bobby.
Yeah.
We're here for you, Bobby.
I just gotta say, it's a weird contrast to see that
Can I
scene
get
when
you
the
anything
previous
to go,
scene was them being a happy family at the end.
Yeah, I was about to say the last time you saw them all together was him comforting his mom about how great his dad is, and his dad
Yeah.
appears, and then we cut. This is the next scene you see with them.
Yeah.
Sure thing, Shelley. Damn, I still can't get.
That's
This is such
I'm
an
glad-
interesting scene, man.
I'm glad that it all works out for them in the end. I'm glad that I know that, because yeah, I don't have a favorable opinion of the general after this scene. Like, I understand that Bobby is kind of like, you know, he's kind of a shithead. Like, he just got out of a holding cell, out of jail. He's in a shit ton of debt with Leo. Like, there's something going on with Bobby that something is happening with Bobby. Like, he's in a lot of shit, and his dad is kind of a straight shooter of the law, being in the military. But like, I think it's because like I am in the personal belief that you should never hit your kids. And so that's why that kind of like rubbed me really wrong, but that is just a personal thing for me, right? So
I'm of the same belief. That said, he's like 17, 18, so it is a slight bit different, but at the same time, it's still not okay. But also, he was smoking and has clearly been told not to do that before.
Yeah.
And it's like, at what point are you just like, don't do that directly in front of me at the dinner table when we've told you not, right? Like it's not that excuses it, but it is like, the scene opens up with him being like, I understand you're rebelling and I'm okay with that. And I'm trying to give you as much space and grace to allow you to do that. I also understand you're going through mourning. And if you want to talk about that, that's fine. I see you're, reticent to enter a dialogue with me. And I get that because I am, your dad. And sometimes you don't want to talk to your dad. But, we're giving you this space. And then he lights up a cigarette in front of him, and it's like just blatant disrespect of the entire family. And so it's like,
that.
It's not okay, but at the same time, like,
It's understandable why it happened in that moment. I get that.
What I really appreciate about this scene is that, like, he is like this, like, major, general man, and you expect like this, like, toxic masculinity of like, no, keep a upper button and stay in line, and you're gonna respect me, and I don't care if you're going through mourning. Like, that's kind of what you're trained to expect from this type of character. And instead he's like, you're going through it, and I'm trying to give you as much space as I can about that, and give you the space to rebel, and I respect your rebellious nature. Which is not something any teenager wants to hear from their parent while they're rebelling. It is that their parent respects their rebellious nature. So it's like, by the same token, no wonder he lit up directly in front of him, because it's like, oh, you respect my rebellious nature, huh?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But
exactly.
But like I think that it is a subversion of what we're trained to expect from like that military father figure of like, and you're gonna respect, me, and you're gonna follow exactly what I say. And instead he's like, you're going to go on your own path, and I'm trying to give you the space to do that as a teenager as much as I can. You just can't hurt other people with what you're doing, is essentially all he says there. And then the dude lights up in front of him. He's like, now don't do that though.
So yeah, I think it's a fine scene. I'm just glad that it ends out okay.
Yeah. It's definitely a scene that plays better knowing where it ends up than it is like definitely on a first time watch through, you could be like, well, that was a bit excessive. And then you
Yeah.
find out like all the stuff that Bobby's into and like how much grace the Major gives Bobby. And you're like, well, you know what? Maybe that was a little bit more justified than we initially thought.
So I enjoyed the scene. It was a fine scene. I'm just like I said, I'm just glad that it ends out okay. I'm glad that like, you know, knowing where it started and then Bobby in the end is like, yeah, Dad was a good dad. Like he is a good man. I'm just glad that it ends out okay for them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah. The next scene is the diner with Coop, Shelly, the log lady, Harry, and Norma. We find out that Laura helped Norma with Meals on Wheels.
Yeah.
And Coop asked for a delivery route of where Laura would go. What's the log lady?
Yep.
Log lady. Right. Hi.
Can I ask her about our log?
Many have.
Evening, Harry.
Norma, like to have you meet
Norma.
Special Agent Dale Cooper.
Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Norma Jennings.
Ms. Jennings, is it true that Laura Palmer used to help you with the Meals on Wheels program, delivering hot dinners to elderly shut-ins?
Yeah, Laura helped organize that program.
Do you have the names of the people on her?
I can get them for you.
Would you please? And 2 more pieces of this incredible pie.
Okay.
Man, you must have the metabolism of a bumblebee.
Once upon a time, that
For
was
your
me.
information, I heard you speaking about Laura Palmer.
Yes?
One day, my log will have something to say about this. My log saw something that night.
Really? What did it see?
Ask it. I thought so.
The log lady is still the log lady.
So here's a thing for you about that. The first time she showed up, it was almost a jump scare for you in that you thought she was just a meta fictional outside of the story bit. Turns out she's been here the whole time. So as far as that goes, how'd you feel about her whole my log saw something and wants to tell you and all of that? And I guess
Okay.
more importantly, how do you feel about Cooper's response to it?
Yeah, I think Cooper's response to it is like understandable. I think anyone in that position, when they tell you, "Hey, talk to my log, ask him," is like, yeah, I'd be like silent. I'd be like, "What the fuck is this lady? Like, why? No, I'm not gonna talk to you." Like, it's understandable why Cooper had that reaction.
That's
so
super interesting. That's super interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
The general idea, it's so interesting to hear it from this way because people, when I say watch it the normal way, that just means they have one extra episode of context. You have more context than most people who watch it through the normal way. And everybody is like, Cooper seems like the type of guy who would ask a log, what's going on? Like, Cooper seems like he would do that. Like, it's weird that he's off, but like, he's like, can you get a load of her asking me to ask the log? And it's like, dude, you're hanging upside down talking about the Kennedys and Marilyn Monroe earlier today. What are you like?
I think I feel that way because I've seen such a serious side of Cooper. Like he is whimsy and he is eccentric, but I do think at the end of the day he takes his job seriously. And so and that's what I've seen. Like he has very much proven that to me, that he is, at the end of the day, he is an FBI agent for a reason. And so like you can be whimsy and eccentric but still, not want to engage in nonsense. Does that make sense? And so when the log lady is like, ask the log yourself, like it makes sense that Cooper was like looking at her funnily because he's like, no, I'm not gonna ask your log. Like, this is just a waste of my time at this point. Like I see that. I've seen that serious side of Cooper. And so that's why it didn't, his reaction to the log lady like remains that way. Like that's why I think that way about Cooper. And so I do think that him asking the log lady of oh, what does your log say? I think that is him trying to engage, you know, the log lady of like, oh, maybe the log lady saw something herself, but she's using, you know, when kids say, you know, oh, my stuffed animal says that we should have more ice cream. And like, you know, like when kids do that, they have that, like, they use like an inanimate object to say, well, my teddy bear says that we should have more ice cream for dinner. But you know, it's like, it's the kid that's saying that they want more ice cream for dinner. And so I can see Cooper trying to engage the log lady of like, oh, like, maybe she has information on Laura. Like, I'm here to investigate this. I'm going to explore leads of like any information that people have. I'm going to explore it. Like, this is Cooper taking his job seriously. So engaging the log lady with, oh, like, what did you hear? Like, what did your log hear? Like, is this her way of communicating? And then her going, ask the log yourself, was Cooper being like, okay, no. Like, this is a waste of my time now. I'm not going to deal with this. So that's how I perceive the scene.
Okay,
is that way.
Do you think that she's right, though?
That the log knows something?
Yes.
I do think the log knows something. And, like, the only reason why I think that is because of the supernatural elements that have happened in the show so far. My main pieces of evidence are the guy with the hair in the bed, that guy, and Josie in the drawer pull. Josie in the drawer pull is a huge thing. Like, I kind of wrote it off at the time that I watched the episode, but now thinking back of it, of like no, like maybe there is something here that I shouldn't just write off, you know, and so that's how I feel about it. Yeah, so I do think the log knows something, unfortunately. So.
There's another interesting scene that I've only caught on edit that I feel is applicable here. Okay. Where when Garland Briggs is like first comes back from his trip to wherever.
Yeah.
Right? And we get that scene of him in the jungle or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And he's telling everybody, he kind of gets choked up in the middle, and there's this wood table in front of him, and he feels it and he touches it, and he's like, this wood, is that for me, for my soul?
Yeah.
Which, when we get Josie's soul being trapped in wood later, kind of is like, there's something with the wood here.
Yeah, there's something going on with the woods here. There's something going on. The trees.
Well, wood as a material in particular, trapping souls, seems to like been referenced at least twice.
Yes, exactly. And so that's why.
So her log did see something, but that's an insane thing for Cooper to believe at this point.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Like, I think that the log knows something. Unfortunately, it seems dumb to say that. But like, other weird shit has happened in this show, and I shouldn't write things off based off of how I personally feel about it. And so
would that be a disappointment for you if it's like the log does know something? If it is more supernatural, is that a disappointment for you?
If I were I'll play around with this idea. If let's say that the log is Shelly, or not Shelly. Let's say that the log is Laura. Let's say that Laura is trapped in the log, for example. Just throwing that out there. And then somehow Cooper. Okay, here's my fan fiction of this show. Okay, I'm gonna change this.
Let's go.
My fan
I'm
fiction.
Here for it.
The White Lodge is a supernatural place where people go to talk to the undead, and you have to bring the item in which the person is locked in of that item into the White Lodge. And so Cooper and the log lady decide to go to the White Lodge. I don't know how they find the White Lodge. This is my fan fiction, okay? I don't know how they find the White Lodge, but they go to the White Lodge, and then Laura is revealed that she was in the log the entire time. I would be disappointed. I would be very disappointed if that was how it ended. I don't think I would like that.
Here's a question. Do you think I would like that? Because remember, this is my favorite show. So like,
yes.
Let's see what you think of me as a person right now.
I think the log lady, in whatever reveal that she has at the end, they're going to have to try and really pull it out, right? They're going to have to, like, whatever season 3 has, like season 3 is going to be a wild ride. And whatever they revealed in the season 3, whatever the log lady has at the end to reveal, I think you would like it. I don't think it's Laura in the log, but whatever the log has is, you're like, yes, like this makes sense. Like I can see you liking whatever that reveal is. And so that's why I feel the log lady knows something. She knows some bullshit.
So you think Log Lady is endgame? Like,
I do think Log Lady is endgame. I do, seeing that she is in episode 2 of season 1, and seeing how she has popped, the way that she has popped up for me in throughout the episode.
She also does the intros to every episode that we don't watch.
That's true.
But...
That's true. She does do the episodes, the intros. And so I do think Log Lady is endgame. I do think she is connected somehow with all of this, but it's so subtle enough that it's almost a throwaway. Like every scene that she's in is almost a throwaway scene. Like, you know, her at the diner. Like I imagine this is like maybe her second scene, because Cooper asks Harry, oh, that's the log lady. Like, so it's assumed that Cooper has learned about this lady at some point in episode 1. And then she shows up and she does ask the log, and it's kind of a throwaway if you watch this the first time, of like, oh, like she's just crazy. And then, you know, as the White Lodge stuff was revealed to me in season 2, like, oh, she's kind of involved in like this White Lodge. Like, what is the White Lodge? Oh, I hate that, like, okay, just as a side tangent, I hate how the White Lodge, unfortunately for me, has gone up in importance in terms of plot points. Because it was such a throwaway, like, General or Briggs, or like the general being like brought away in the white light, and then he comes back. Like, those are such throwaway scenes to me. But I do think they are part of the larger plot in the story, and that is unfortunate to me, because they are my least favorite scenes out of all of the episodes I've watched so far. And so, but I do think she is important to that, unfortunately.
So you said something interesting there of like, you think that like the log lady is endgame. Your current fan fiction idea that you don't think is going to happen because it would disappoint me is that they'll bring the log to the White Lodge and Laura Palmer's spirit is in there.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I was going to save this for the end of the scenes. How many more do we have? Can we blast through them?
16, 17, 18. We have three more scenes left.
Okay. So what I was going to ask is like, so you're pretty firm that what Twin Peaks is about, at least right now, is, and I'm going to ... to let you fill in the space so I don't answer for you, but is like this early season of Twin Peaks, what is about.
I do think that it's like, okay, this is gonna sound like, okay, this is a bad comparison because I actually hate the show that I'm about to bring up. but it's like Riverdale. Riverdale started as a murder mystery. And
Riverdale
then it
is
ended
extremely inspired by Twin Peaks.
Okay, interesting. Because like I was
That
about
said,
to say,
to be fair, a lot of Twin Peaks people don't like it all that much because it feels like a slight like a cheap
version. It feels like a cheap. Yes, yes.
Twin Peaks.
But, Riverdale does feel like that. Like now that I've watched the first episode of technically, yeah, I get it. Yes.
Yes.
Bring it back to the conversation of earlier. But like, it does because I've watched all of Riverdale. I've watched all of it, and so I very much. It wasn't. Okay. I liked the first season of Riverdale.
Okay.
I hated every other season of Riverdale afterwards. I wanted to kill myself by the last season watching Riverdale. It was painful where that show went. Anyway, I definitely got like Riverdale vibes from watching this first episode of like it's a murder mystery, and now that I've seen the other episodes and other seasons, there's a supernatural element to the show that is. It builds up. It starts off subtle, but it builds up towards a climax that I'm unaware of yet, right? And so, the supernatural elements of the show, I've written off in my head previously because they were silly and stupid and I hated it. But, like, I think if you were to watch the show properly in order, that it is a build-up of that supernatural element over time, you know? Like watching this episode and the log lady going, oh, like talk to the log. Like in my head, because I've seen the other episodes, I'm like, that makes sense. Like, yes, Cooper, talk to the log. Like I want him to do that. But like, if you were watching the show in order, like you'd be like, I feel like you'd be like, yeah, like why the frick is this lady here talking about like logs? Like,
to be fair, no, actually, like I mentioned, people who watch it in order are also like, yeah, talk to the log, Cooper.
Interesting. I'm
so
wondering
from both angles, you don't like it.
What kind of context am I missing of that first episode?
You're
like,
really
I'm so
not
curious.
though. That's the interesting part. Is like you're not. It's just you would have been fine with it, but everybody else is like, why does he talk to the log?
Interesting.
And watching it in reverse, you ended up with the same reaction.
Interesting. It's just interesting that people have that reaction because like Cooper, like, you know, like I mentioned before, Cooper is whimsy and he is eccentric, but he's not a no nonsense kind of guy. Like he is a very like, I'm here to do my job kind of deal. And so that's interesting that other people have that reaction because if I were to put myself in the shoes of someone who is watching this for the first time, like the log lady does come off, and I feel like should come off as like just a crazy lady, right? And so the fact that
I think the only thing that you're missing is that like Cooper as like hyper aware and able to piece things together and has this logical stuff is very intuition based, and that's like clear in the first part of it where it's like, oh, you read the subtle clues of a person and you read this, it's not necessarily the hard facts that's going to get you where you need to go. It's intuition, right? And so a lot of them are like, well, if that's your thing, talk to her more and see if you can't figure out what she knows via the log, right? Is where a lot of that angle comes from, to be fair.
Maybe.
But
it's I don't see that for me.
No, for sure.
I don't see that. When I look at this first episode, season 1, episode 2, it seems like a straightforward murder mystery. Like there's clues of like, you know, him going to Norma to ask about Laura, and then him going to Josie and asking about like what was she doing Thursday night, and like we get bits and pieces of, you know, Bobby and Mike talking about how they saw Leo the night Laura. Like there's elements of a murder mystery here. There is no other clue that this is a supernatural show, and that's why I think I like this first episode. And so that's why it's interesting. Like that's why for me it's interesting to hear like, you know, general audiences being like, yeah, like Cooper should have talked to the log. Because to me, that doesn't make sense.
There was no supernatural stuff as far as I remember.
Yeah.
In really in the first one either.
Yeah, so that's why to me it's surprising to hear that people want Cooper to talk to the log purely based off of personality of Cooper, because for me, Cooper has never given an indication that he would take that until, you know, he experiences what happens, what I've seen, you know, like General Briggs disappearing, like, is a big one, right? And so that's why it's surprising that other audiences have that reaction, because to me, that doesn't make sense to me. So that's why it's surprising.
That's fair. That's fair. We diverted from the point I was trying to make in the first place, is that this first part is a murder mystery, like you said, about Laura Palmer. It sounds like you think that Log Lady is endgame dealing with the Laura Palmer murder. But as we've seen, that kind of isn't in the later part. So, like, I guess, how long do you think it takes to solve the murder? Do you think, like where do you think this is resolved? Do you think it's resolved yet from what we've seen, even? Like,
I don't know, because like every episode has ended on Laura's face. Like even in season 2, right? It has ended on Laura's picture.
Right.
And so I feel like if her plot point is wrapped up, there's no reason for her to have her face in the credits. I don't see a reason why it would be up there. I think that to me, part of me, like, okay, here's where my mind is at. Part of me wants to believe that it's wrapped up by the end of season 1. Like Laura Palmer's plot point is wrapped up by the end of season 1. But the other part of me thinks that it's not, because at the end of the episodes, it always circles back to Laura because of the end credits scene. I think it's important that she's still there. And so I don't know why she keeps coming up at the end, in the end credits scene. Because, like, it's interesting that like you mentioned to me, I'm piecing this together as we talk about this. You mentioned at the beginning that, you know, did you notice, you asked me, did you notice that the title scene at the beginning of the show was slightly different from what we've seen so far?
Right,
and I
yes.
said no. I told you no, I didn't notice that it was different.
1 sec.
And then you pointed out, okay. Oh, those are antler deer paws. Hooks. Okay.
Yep.
A little unsettling there.
Something you may not have noticed. The opening was actually a little bit different.
Hotel up here in Twin
Oh,
Peaks.
okay.
Slept pretty
Yeah, I don't
well.
think I noticed.
Non-smoking room.
It didn't fall to the stream down as far and have the ominous
A
undertone.
hint of Douglas fir needles in the air.
Okay, this is where I cut that in. Like, sometimes if you're in the middle of a sentence about a thought, and I'm like, oh, I need to put this in here, and then like I'm like, when she end, and then we move on to another point, and I'm like, no, this is a different scene, and so it gets hard to do that. So it's like, yeah, so we mentioned that, and now I'm gonna put that in where I brought that up. Okay, continue.
Okay, and so when you said that, I was like, oh, like I guess they did change it. I don't know what the changes were. I'm gonna have to, when I rewatch the podcast episode, I'm gonna have to rewatch it and see what the difference is. But like, it's not, so that clues me in a meta context of like, oh, the editors and the producers of this show like are like not capable, but like they can change things of the intro and outro sequence when they want to. And so I feel like it's very purposeful that Laura is still kept at the end of season 2 as the credits scene picture. And so like I think that, talking it out loud, I think that Laura's murder is solved by the end of season 1. However, I do think something happens, I don't know what it would be, at the end of season 1 that there is something that isn't solved with Laura's murder. Like Laura, like we find her killer, but something else happened that is involved with Laura's murder that is not solved at the end of season 1. It's kind of like a cliffhanger note. But
Okay.
it's not, I think it's not important enough until probably the end of season 2. I think it's like something that will come up again later.
It's a teaser into the supernatural stuff that they start to explore later.
Yes, that's what I think it
Okay.
is. Because, and the reason why I think this way is because that Cooper was actually, like, he was ready to leave town at the beginning of season 2. Like, he was like, I'm done here. Like, that it was after the drug murder people, whatever.
It was
like
right before the
Mountie or
drug
whatever.
murder people.
Was
actually.
it before it?
Yeah, it was.
Oh yeah,
right
you're right. It
before
was before it because he was being
which
framed
is
for it.
in
That's what kept him in
episode
town.
10 of season 2. So that's a little bit into season 2.
Yeah. So that's
uh,
why I feel like it was wrapped up at some point. Like Laura's
yeah.
story, like the whole reason why he's in town is because of Laura. That's why he's in town. So something wrapped up in her story point, but something else isn't solved there, and that's what's going to resurface again at the end of season 2. That's what I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so let's blast through these last scenes. I can finally give a recap, and we'll be.
Okay. Scene 16. Shelly and Leo. Poor Shelly, sad face. I have no
my
other
god,
notes.
and we do actually have to talk about this. Oh my god. Oh, we're never gonna leave. We're never gonna leave.
Well, like, I don't know why you have to talk about it, because for me, it's like, oh, Leo is an asshole. Like, Leo is a
He's an
dickhead.
abuser. Yeah.
That's literally all the notes that I have of it. Like,
Well,
that's interesting
I
that
think
you
that-
have to talk about it. Because to me, that's all that is that, oh, this is confirmation that Leo is a dick and something happened with him and Laura in the shirt. That's it. Those are all the notes that I have.
Yeah. So I think that we have to give it space as like a scene of like weirdly graphic without seeing anything abuse of a person on ABC Family. Like in the middle of in the middle of the 90s, like it
Fair
pretty
enough,
hardcore scene of like you like him turning on the radio and you could hear the sock whirling is like really actually upsetting.
Yeah.
Or like seeing him put the soap in there. But so A wanted to hold space for that, right? Of like,
Yep.
hey, let's acknowledge pretty fucked up stuff. But it is good to acknowledge that stuff like that does happen and it's not treated lightly. Which what I wanted to ask you about in terms of this is like, we haven't a lot of semi-heavy stuff that's come up in season 2 that we've seen. We've discussed as not being treated all that heavy. In season 2 so far, we get a really light touch on everything of like, we're not going to treat this as maybe heavy or respectfully, maybe as we should. We've had a few different things in here of like uncomfortable grief with parents and now this abuse angle and stuff where it seems to really hold on it and show it as a heavier thing. And so kind of wanted your perspective on that. Did you feel that shift, or is this in my head because I like the show?
I don't necessarily think that, like, I think the heavier stuff that happens in like season 2, I think is brushed off more because the show brushes it off more, Like the
Right.
thing that sticks out in my head is like James and Evelyn, right?
Right.
Like that is a very uncomfortable thing, but it is excused for the sake of the plot of everything else surrounding it, right? Like there's
Right.
a lot going on in season 2 now that I take a step back and I'm like, whoa, there's like a lot actually happening throughout season 2. Whereas I think it holds its weight more in this episode because there is only, there's one thing to focus on, essentially, and that is
Right.
the murder of Laura Palmer. And so the the episode itself allows those things to breathe because like there's simply not that much happening outside of that. Like you get a little bit of like, you know, like Catherine and Ben like plotting something, and you know, you get a hint of, you know, oh, like Harry and Josie have something going on with them. Excuse you. And so like you get hints of that, but like because it's not a busy episode, like, you know, like Harry and Josie aren't making out for 2 minutes for a scene, you know, like it's just talking essentially, like trying to figure out what is happening with Laura. That is the focus of the episode. And so when you know this scene happens and like Leo starts hitting Shelly, like that scene breathes more because the episode structure allows it to. And so I don't think it's necessarily like it's not just because you like the show, in my opinion. Like I think because of how the episode is structured and how the show is structured so far,
it's like a writing thing. And this episode, as we noticed, was written by Mark Frost and David Lynch.
Yeah. Like
which
it
I think
allows
is
it
your
to
first
breathe.
experience actually with
Yeah,
David
you're
Lynch
right.
being on the show.
It is. This is my first thing with them. So yeah. So
also,
I think
it was directed by Dwayne Dunham, who is like an editor for Lynch and a lot of his stuff. Edits a lot of the episodes of Twin Peaks, and is kind of like somewhat of a directorial protege of David Lynch. I think he directs the second most amount of episodes after David Lynch of the show.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Here. Okay. So yeah, that's why I think like those scenes stand out because now taking a step back of like, because you mentioned, we mentioned in a previous episode that I like the scenes where like essentially nothing happens. It's just people talking.
It's character work.
I really like those.
Yeah.
It's character work. And so when a scene where quote unquote action happens, you know, Leo beating Shelly, unfortunately, like it sticks out more because we know of these characters now at this point, even though we're only one episode in. And so that's why I think like season 2 is so distracting. Like there is a lot going on in season 2. Like that's why I'm hoping that as we watch more of season 1, where like I get a better feel for the show and what it's actually about. Not that like season 2 is fake, but like there's a lot going on in season 2. There is a lot happening, and I can understand why I was so confused watching it for the first couple episodes, because there's just too much to keep up with, and it doesn't.
You could drop into this episode and follow along just fine.
Exactly. And so that's why I like that about this scene.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, and it treats like the heavier topics more heavy. And like can have a sense of dread about it, right?
Yes,
like that whole lead up into him beating her is actually like, oh, this feels bad right now.
Yeah, exactly.
That said, I do want to also talk about Eric DeRay, the man who plays Leo, real quick.
Okay.
His mother is the casting director of the show.
Oh, okay.
So it's very easy to point to nepotism. It's so easy to point to nepotism in this show as a whole. But reportedly, the story is that he actually came and swung by to like do something for his mom, like drop off lunch or something. And Lynch saw him and was like, "You're gonna be in the show."
That's crazy.
I think that may be apocryphal, but like I remember hearing that story a few different times of like that's actually how he got the role. Not like it is because his mom's the casting director, but in the way of like because he had to go do something for his mom, and then
okay.
But like he actually has like long blonde hair, and reportedly is like the nicest person you'll ever meet or whatever. And I think that comes unfortunately I think that he's not a very strong actor in my opinion.
Yes, I agree.
Or he's very strong at being a dead face, like allowing stuff to happen to him as you know, someone who's stuck. But like when he tries to be like this evil guy in here, as long as he's not talking, I think he can do it pretty well, right? But like as soon as he talks, it gives the vibe of like the nice guy who has to like be in a play as the evil villain and doesn't know how to be evil really. You know what I mean? But like
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's fair.
Maybe you'll pick up on this now that I pointed it out, but it feels like he's like, I'm gonna hurt you now, Shelly. and you're like, yeah, I mean, good thing you have this physical presence about you that makes you slightly intimidating, and the writing's helping
fair.
you out, because this
Fair.
is not it.
Yeah, fair.
Yep.
Okay, next scene. I'm gonna swing through it.
Yep.
James and Donna at the dinner party.
Well, I hope you're hungry. Eileen's been cooking up a storm.
Yes, sir.
Would you like something to drink? We have some soft drinks and some fruit punch, some sparkling cider.
Fruit punch, that'd be good, thank you.
Look at James in his little sweater.
God, this entire feeling.
This is awkward. Yeah, I don't like it.
I mean, it's very true.
Yeah.
of teenagers coming for a family
meeting
dinner.
your parents.
I know your
yeah.
parents, James.
God, there's something about this scene too to bring up, but it's information you don't have yet, so I can't share that.
Ed Hurley down at the gas farm is James's uncle.
What I will say is there's missing people in this scene. And so for anyone who knows, there you go.
Okay.
I don't think it's a spoiler. Donna has 2 sisters.
Oh.
And like it makes
It's
sense
like
that they're
not
not
talked
attached
about
to
at all. What the fuck?
Yeah, it makes sense that they're not attached to like her storylines and stuff, right? But
Yeah.
like, what about this family dinner thing with like the boyfriend? Where are the sisters? They're 2 younger sisters. Where are they?
I have not seen them at all.
First your girlfriend, then mine.
Too bad we can.
James is a bit of a slut.
True, but he's a sweetheart slut, so it's kind
Sure.
of okay.
I think the big thing is that he keeps going for people who are in relationships with other people.
Yeah, that's not great.
Which, as you already know, I've mailed to in one of the envelopes you gave me. It's Thursday, the 23rd.
And then yeah, that's interesting. Yeah,
That's
Donna
so
has
bad.
sisters.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
I thought about holding on to that because like the first episode reveals a sister, and I was like, oh, let's hold on to it so that way you're confused about who her sisters are when they pop up, and it's like this whole time there's been sisters, right? But I do think it is funnier for you to know that they're sisters and keep that in mind as you watch the family stuff, because like there's this family dinner and they only have 4 fucking they should at least have 5 chairs. There's 2 sisters.
Yeah, that's so
3
true.
children. Well, I guess their mom's in a wheelchair, so you know what, maybe 4 is fine, but still but still, where are they?
That's
They're both
true.
younger.
That's
They're-
true.
One's like 9. Where is she?
Oh.
Feed her dinner too, please.
That is funny. I'll keep that in mind as we watch this. 'cause that is-
like once
that's
you have an
funny.
awareness that she has sisters, it pops up so often of like, where are they?
Where are they?
where are the sisters? so yeah, I thought about keeping that to myself so that way you'd be like, where are the sisters? But I think the constant question of that will be better than you
That's
finding
funny.
out that she had
Yeah.
sisters. That's the only thing about this scene, besides that it feels very real to being a teenager going to
Yes.
dinner with
and I
with
like
the family.
James in a sweater. I like James
Yes.
and how he looks in a sweater. And then finally, the last scene.
Did you
is-
notice that thing
oh,
about James real quick? His
What?
hair's lighter. In
Oh, I didn't
season
notice
2,
that.
it's like black. In here, it's like
Oh.
brown.
I didn't notice that. Oh, okay.
Oh,
I did
there you
not
go.
notice that. Okay. And then finally, the last scene is Dr. Jacoby and the locket.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I don't know what to think of that other than that's interesting.
And also a tape
Who-
that he was listening to from a girl talking.
Yes.
Any thoughts on that?
Which sounds like, and it sounds like Laura. That sounds like
Yep.
Laura.
Yep.
So that's why I don't know what to think of it. My first thought is that she gave James one half of the locket, and then she was like, oh shit, I don't have anything to give Dr. Jacoby. I guess I'll give him my other locket. And so now James and Dr. Jacoby have matching lockets. That's the only thing I can think of.
Very funny. I would like to point out that the police had the other half of the locket.
Oh, okay.
Conceptually.
No, I feel like I'm right. I think it would just be funny.
I'm changing the canon of the show for that to be true, because that is so fucking fun. God, like, I wish I was like a teenage heartbreaker woman so I could pull that on a bunch of guys and be like, yeah, it's for you. And then like get another boyfriend and be like, it's for you. I have the other one for sure. But like, oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, that would be very funny. So that's canon in my head.
I love that.
That's
Yes,
canon.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Listen, I'll tell you, locket doesn't really matter. So yeah, we can make that
Okay.
canon. That is now
That's
our
canon
canon. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. This is why you should read more fan fiction, friends. Is like you can think of your own canon yourself. You don't like what's going on in the show, just make up your own canon. And there you go. It solves all the world's problems.
Yep.
So, yep. Okay, that's it. That's the end of
Okay,
season
good.
1, episode 2.
I'll
Okay.
blast through my review of it real quick then.
Okay.
Why it ranks so low and you were curious about it.
Okay.
I feel like this is the baseline for what Twin Peaks is. Other ones have higher moments. A couple of them may be lower, like have low moments, but like higher highs. But I feel like on a baseline, if I were to show someone like, here's what the vibe and what I think of as Twin Peaks, like the quintessential Twin Peaks that isn't necessarily like the best of Twin Peaks, but also like is like showcases what the show actually is. I think it's this episode.
Okay.
So it like it doesn't stand out as like one of the best, but it also doesn't like it sets the tone for what the early Twin Peaks is about.
I see. So basically, what you're saying is this is a great first episode if you're watching the show for the first time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Okay.
Yeah. So you already kind of answered what you think Twin Peaks is about, our usual thing. I feel like I don't need to ask this question, but I'm going to anyways. Do you agree with the ranking so far? Is this better than what we saw before?
This has been the best episode that we've watched so far, I will say.
Yeah.
So that's I would agree with your ranking so far.
Okay. Yep. We covered most of what I talk about in this section in the actual talking about it, because we did talk at length about it.
Yeah.
Listen, as it gets better, I'm gonna need to find ways to shut the fuck up and let us move forward. Because if this is the typical Twin Peaks episode, I'm gonna
We're in
have to
trouble.
find
We
a way.
are so in trouble.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to find a way to dial that in. But yeah. I think that's it. Any final thoughts on the episode as a whole?
Good. Yep.
Well, I guess that's it. So, as a final PSA, remember to brush your teeth.
Brush your teeth. Okay, I'm recording now. Okay. Okay. I wanted to.
Here's our post credits thing. Oh, were you gonna say something? Because
Yes.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Wait. How long is your point, and how long do you think you'll take to make your point before I start?
No, it was just a question I forgot to mention, but
okay. What's your
I'm fine mentioning this as a spoiler for like the list that we're going through. Normally, I'm trying to keep the list close to the chest, but next we're watching Missing Pieces.
Yes.
And I don't know where to rate that particularly, because it is a bunch of like extended and deleted scenes. Jay's already made aware of this. And so we're watching that next time. a bit of a weird one. But so I'm curious to know what you. Normally, I ask, "Oh, what do you think is going to happen in the next episode, or like where it's placed?" You have no idea in where the timeline this is placed.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah.
Do you think it's future or past? And what do you think is going to happen? That's the question I usually ask. So like I wanted to touch on that when you brought up missing pieces. And then you have a point to make as well, I guess.
So I think, oh fuck, I don't know. I think I swore a lot in this episode, by the way. Sorry, you're gonna have to believe that.
I don't believe it. I listed as explicit.
Oh, okay.
Like I like swearing. I think it's great.
Then we're fine.
I like showing a different side of you as well because you're PG-13 on your streams. So like, let all those fucks who watch you come over here and hear us curse like sailors.
I think that it is a mix of past and going to be future.
Okay.
Because you said there's a movie between season 2 and season 3. And so I think that Missing Pieces is deleted scenes of season 2 specifically. The reason why I think that is because season 2 was a freaking mess. It was such a mess of a season from what I've seen so far. And so it feels like there's a lot of missing pieces. Haha, made a joke. It seems like there's a lot of missing pieces in season 2. And so I feel like it's past stuff. And I also think it's future stuff of the potential movie. So
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I will prepare you for this in saying I don't think you're gonna like it.
Oh, okay.
Not for anything bad or content. I watched through it for the first time, just it by itself without like being part of whatever. And it's a rough watch because it's just a bunch of deleted scenes.
Okay, noted. Okay.
So like don't expect like narrative through lines or quality. Like you may be able to pick up on some stuff. You're a smart little bean, but like it's a hard
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
That said, in the context that they come from, everything works fine. But like in this context,
it's freaking terrible.
I need to warn you that I don't think you're gonna have a good time with it.
Okay, noted. Okay.
All right, you were gonna make a point though when you were bringing up missing pieces, and we'll see if this makes it or not. But
I wanted to bring something up to you. Okay. I wanted to bring. Okay, so you know how Google is always listening. You know that, right? Like Google, Facebook, all of those are always okay.
Sure.
So ever since I started watching this with you, I had to block so many keywords off of Twitter and TikTok and Instagram because they're always listening. And so like I haven't been spoiled on anything, but ever since, specifically after David Lynch died, specifically, I've been getting served a lot of Twin Peaks content. And so it's very freaking annoying because people don't put Twin Peaks in the freaking, in the description or in things like that. Or in the tags, they just put like the actor's name or something. And like I don't know every single actor that has shown up in Twin Peaks. So I just get served a lot of Twin Peaks content recently. And so I'm sick and tired of that. And so I wanted to propose to you. Like, this episode I feel like is an outlier because we've been talking for like 3 hours. And so like maybe this isn't like the best time to propose this, but I want to start watching 2 episodes every Saturday because I want to know. I'm like invested now. Like I want to watch Twin Peaks. Like
Jay, there is not a universe in which this goes well for our time management. I have all the time in the world on Saturdays. I would love to do that with you. You just say the word, I will do that.
Okay.
There's not a world in which you have enough time to do that.
Oh my god. It sucks because what this means is like, that means we got to start watching episodes at like 9 a.m. in the morning.
Again, I'll wake up as early as you need me to. Get me up at 6 in the morning so we can watch 2 in a row. Get me up that early. I'll do that with you. There's not a universe in which you're gonna survive this.
Because, like, okay.
I'll pitch a different idea, but go ahead.
Okay, the reason why is because I want to know what happens in the show. And the way that we're watching it, like, yes, we're watching it out of order, but we're watching it very anti the way that I would watch media, is that I just binge. I binge until it's over, and then I'm sad because it's over. And like,
I struggle with TV shows for the same reason. Is TV shows tend to be too long to actually binge. So I'll get through like 3 or 4 episodes of a thing and really like it.
Yeah.
But then like I'll have to take a break for work, or I'll have to take a break for whatever.
Yeah.
And then I never go back to TV shows.
Yeah.
Like that's why I don't watch. Yeah. 100% the same way.
But
I did binge Twin Peaks, to be clear.
And so, like, I just want to binge, but like, because of how we're watching it, we can't, because we have to talk about it afterwards. And so that's why I'll try and find time, but I want to start watching 2 episodes when we watch Twin Peaks.
So here's a pitch for you.
Okay, I'm listening.
Whichever way it works, and but like, and get back to me on it. But if maybe we could schedule a second day, if you can carve out, I think that'd be easier for you to carve out another 2 hours or whatever in a different day than it would be to carve out like the 6 that it would definitely take if we did 2 back to back.
Fair, valid. Okay.
So whichever way works for you. Oh, I didn't sync up. Hey, one sec. Count 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. Okay, it's synced up.
Synced at the end.
Okay. But yeah, that is. Yeah.
Hey, you made me the happiest I've been in a while. I'm in a spiral right now, and the idea that you're like, we need to find time to watch 2 in a row or something makes me so happy.
Bro, I need to watch more Twin Peaks. I'm so sick and tired of seeing shit of like, because, okay, for the background, I know I'm yapping a lot, but I don't care. Okay, for background information, Mac and I had trouble uploading like the first episode of the podcast because Mac kept on getting DMCA'd and stuff. And so for research purposes,
and I'm still getting those.
And for research purposes, I looked up Twin Peaks on YouTube. Because I was like, okay, who else? There's
and
no
now your
way we're the
algorithm's
only
fucked.
person. Yes, and now my algorithm is fucked. I get videos of Cooper being a heartthrob for 8 minutes straight. And I'm like, I want to watch Cooper being a heartthrob for 8 minutes straight. I want to see that, but I can't. I can't risk the integrity of the podcast because I feel like watching a random YouTube video for 8 minutes. And so now I'm just fucked all the time. And like now I just want to watch Twin Peaks because I want to finish this so I can watch Cooper being a heartthrob for 8 minutes straight. Or I can watch Andy being an idiot for 5 minutes straight. Like I want to watch those videos. And so yeah, now
there's
I'm
a
at
great
this
one
point.
that's like this huge tribute to David Lynch that's like called David Lynch being a madman for 8 minutes, which starts out as just him being himself, but then grows to be like this touching tribute about him of being like, look at this genius who created this work, right? And it's such a good emotional one that like you can't watch because it has spoilers in it.
Yeah, I have been getting those videos too. Like I've been getting because I'm on film YouTube. Like that is my algorithm. Is like why Jake Gyllenhaal deserves an Oscar or why Dave Bautista is a great actor. Like I get
Dave
those
Bautista
all the time.
is a great actor, and I will fight.
Yes,
I will fight anybody about that.
Thank you. He was great in Blade Runner. Just putting that out there. Oh my god.
Blade Runner's one of my Blade Runner 2049. I hate original Blade Runner, any cut of it. And so I was like, all right, whatever. I'll watch it because, and Denis Villeneuve is a great director. And oh my God, it's so good. Sorry, we can't get into this.
We can't get into that. Oh my God. But like, I get
special
those.
episode. We'll
yes.
we'll review Blade
Oh
Runner.
my god! But like,
Get this
so I
to a
get
certain
those
number or
videos.
something. I don't know.
Oh my god! So I get those videos all the time on my algorithm, and recently, because David Lynch has unfortunately passed away, I've been getting why David Lynch is the greatest director of this generation, or why David Lynch is a genius, and you should watch Twin Peaks. Like, I've been getting those videos, and it's very frustrating to see those videos on my feed and being like, I can't watch this.
Nope.
I'm not allowed to. I cannot watch these. And so, yeah. Because, like, I think when I see those videos, Mac, I think back to when before we started this, of like, where it's going to take us over a year. And I'm like, I can't wait that long.
Yeah,
Like,
at first you were like,
I
that's
can't
really
wait.
interesting conceptually. You're like, oh, like a year-long thing conceptually. Now that you actually have to pace yourself, you're like, we're the ADHD generation. I'm not going to pace myself on this. Let's go.
I need my fix, bro. I need my fix.
No,
So,
legit. When I was
yeah.
watching with my mom, we used to watch like one episode a weekend or whatever, and then we'd have
Yeah.
to take breaks or whatever. And I was like, Mom, I can't keep up with this pace. We need to do 2. We need to do 3. Like I'm not like I need more of this, and I've seen this show before.
So yeah, that's why. Yeah.
Okay, we'll discuss this then. We don't need to hash it out
Okay.
right now on camera, but like
Okay.
we'll figure something out because
Okay.
I agree with you.
Thank you. Okay, I'm done. I'm gonna end recording now.